This holiday season, reach for the one butter that never disappoints, Kerrygold. Made with milk from grass-fed cows on Irish family farms, it's rich, creamy, and perfect for baking. Whether browning butter for cookies or crafting the flakiest pie crust, Kerrygold's high butterfat content makes all the difference in flavor and texture. Holiday treats will taste extraordinary.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another insane edition of Crime in Sports. Checking back in with Billy Martin.
Oh, yeah.
As the entire thing starts to crumble, as you're starting to really see the frayed edges start to happen, and really it's going to unravel here in this part and then in the next part too. So there we go. We will get to that very quickly, though. Before we get started, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com because we are announcing tomorrow, or today if you're listening to it when it first came out on a Tuesday, the Tuesday of this week. What is that? The 2nd. December 2nd, we are announcing 2026's schedule for live shows for Small Town Murder. Those tickets will be on sale the end of this week, I believe Friday is when they go on sale. I'm not sure. It'll be on the website. That's a good place to go. Check shutupandgivememurder.com and do that and get your tickets because they're coming out. We're very excited. Whole slate of shows here. So do that. No crime in sports, though. Sorry, everybody out there.
That's how it goes.
That's just the way it works. So
we're so busy.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too much anyway. So it's too much as it is. So we're going to definitely do that. So do that and then get yourself Patreon. That's what you need. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all the bonus material. Anybody, $5 a month or above. You're getting so much. You're getting a whole back catalog of hundreds of bonus episodes that you've never heard before. Then, on top of that, you get new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you just get them all. Just take them. Take them. This week, what you're going to get for Crime in Sports, we are going to talk about deaths from cycling.
Yeah.
Competitive cycling it's deadly, this sport. It couldn't be more dangerous if people were shooting at them as they were riding. Like, it's crazy. It makes NASCAR look like nothing compared, because like a death in NASCAR is a big deal. A death in cycling was put them on the pile.
Death in NASCAR, they change rules and shit. Death in biking, they're like, we got you a helmet and a bike. You still can't figure it out?
Put the bike on that pile and the body on the other pile. At the end of the bottom of the hill, it's all stacked up here. So we'll get into that. Then for Small Town Murder, it's Charles Starkweather, who killed 11 people. Had a real weird upbringing and just a weird guy, and this wasn't expected from him. And then he blamed it on a 13-year-old girl, which is fun. So we'll talk about all of that and more. Patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you get a shout out at the end of the show. And on top of that, you get all the shows we do. Small Town Murder, Crime in Sports, and Your Stupid Opinions, all ad-free with your Patreon.
Ad-free?
Ad-free. Can't beat it. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. That said, let's do it, everybody.
Here we go.
Let's figure out where Billy Martin is and catch up with him here. We're going to catch up with Billy on April 16th, 1984, as he's being arrested. Let's find out. Yeah, we're kicking off hot here. He's arrested during a shouting match on the front lawn of a home.
Nice.
I don't know how you get arrested doing that.
Take it outside.
He's released on a $100 bail after that. Police were responding to calls by neighbors' complaints. Found Martin on the lawn. This is from the police report. Quote, obviously intoxicated, which goes without saying.
Yeah.
Billy Martin, he's not actually in a dugout, so he's intoxicated. Obviously intoxicated, screaming and hollering at a female. Just yelling at somebody. So he's booked for investigation of public drunkenness and disorderly conduct and released at about 4 a.m. after spending 4 hours in the old drunk tank.
Yeah.
In the, quote, public drunk tank, according to the newspaper here. Another officer who responded said that Martin and a female companion, Jill, his girlfriend.
Oh, boy. Remember her?
Yeah, the photographer woman.
Yeah, the youngster.
Apparently were arguing about, this is amazing. This is in the middle of the night, mind you. This has happened at midnight. He's arrested for drunkenly arguing in the front lawn about travel arrangements for a horse he bought her. That's what they're fighting about in the front yard.
Yeah.
About a horse. That is wild.
Go out front and see a gal about a horse.
I'm going to see a gal. No, I mean it. I'm going to yell at her and tell her what's up.
I'm actually going to do it.
I'm actually going to do it. That is fucking amazing. They said Martin was cooperative when arrested and that he flew to New York after Jill came and bailed him out for this.
Nice. Yeah.
Now, here's the real story from the book. That's the newspaper version.
Yeah.
From the book, quote, "It began in mid-April when Jill flew home from Seattle where the Yankees played a series. She had been with Billy, who was scouting the team for Steinbrenner. On the plane, she saw the wife of a Yankees player whose name Jill chose not to reveal. The player's wife had not seen Jill in Seattle and spotted her on the flight, and she approached and asked, 'So what are you doing now that Billy's married?' Okay. She said, 'I was so mortified and embarrassed,' is what Jill said. So she insisted that she had not known that Billy was married until that moment.
She just found out?
She just found out because they got married in secret and all. I find that very hard to believe. Jill continued and said, quote, "Being in love, you're hurt. I thought, what have I been doing with my life? Certain things started to click, like some things that had happened over the last year. Now they all made sense. It's like these tumblers click in your head, but I hadn't put it all together before. I mean, he had hit it from almost everyone. The Yankees players didn't know. Lots of people didn't know."
Really?
Weird. Now, go on from the book here. Others in Billy's community of friends, many of whom despised Jill, find it hard to believe that Jill didn't know of the marriage. Maybe she didn't know of it right after the wedding, they say, but she learned of it certainly within a year. You know.
She knew.
They say it is revisionist history otherwise. One guy, Lou Fagone, said, "She knew what was going on."
Yeah.
Don't let that broad bullshit you. She knew exactly what she was doing. Give me a fucking break over here.
Yeah.
I'm Lou fucking Fagone. She knew what he was doing. I'm fucking Lou. A little
Lou
Fight Club,
Fagone.
little Fight Club reference.
Not Fanuc. I know things.
Yeah, I'm not a Fanuc. I'm Fagone. You understand? I'm not Fugazi. I'm Fagone. I understand what's going on.
I know what it is.
Eddie Sapir, the lawyer, the New Orleans lawyer that has gotten Billy out of everything, said, quote, "Of course she did. Jill was very smart and shrewd." She can't be this super smart, worldly lady, but doesn't know that her boyfriend is married for over a year. Like, you can't have both. Billy's good friend Mickey Morabito, however, was not sure. He said that whole time was hard to figure out. I don't know what to think. I don't know who knew what. But Jill said, quote, "I called Billy and told him what I now knew, and I was going fairly berserk. Then I went and stayed with friends because I didn't want to be seen. Billy was calling my house in Newport Beach nonstop. Remember, there was no cell phones then, and Billy didn't know where I was. But eventually I came back to Newport Beach, and he was waiting for me there at the doorstep. He was a very passionate and certainly truthful when it all came out, but I was so angry." So she said that she took what clothes and belongings Billy had left at the Newport Beach home and threw them on the front lawn. That's how this started. Mind you, he pays for this house, by the way.
Threw all his shit out
all
there?
of his shit out there.
Uh-huh.
You're like, cool, I guess I stopped paying the rent then. What are we talking about here? I pay for this house.
Sounds like you're about to get evicted. My credit's about to take a hit.
This is crazy. I mean, it'd be different if they were married, but they're not. This is she's a side piece, so she's got to know that this is crazy. Anyway, she did that. She said, as any woman would have and should have done. Yes, but any woman who's not living in her boyfriend's house, that's his house that he pays for. That's the difference.
You're benefiting.
And we started having a terrible screaming argument. We made a terrible racket, and the police came and arrested him. The story that people later wrote is that we were fighting over a horse of mine that I wanted a new trailer for, but that's false. It was not a fight over a horse. It was because I found out he was married. which in the paper looks way juicier than over a horse. The Associated Press filed a story about the incident, quoting Newport police investigator who said Billy was arrested for public drunkenness and disorderly conduct. Billy spent 4 hours in jail and was released on a $100 bond at 4 a.m. In the AP story, the investigator said that Jill and Billy argued over a horse. The New York Times published the AP story with the headline, "Martin Jailed as Drunk." In the city's tabloid newspapers, it was not back-page news. Billy was the ex-manager, but there were conspicuous stories. The charges were dropped soon afterward, and the incident was Billy's doing, as were most of his public transgressions. But the effect and consequences this time seemed to be more lasting. The, quote, drunk headlines, when added to his other high-profile recent barroom episodes, were part of the ongoing denigration of his reputation in the 80s. Yeah, this is when he does not look like a great guy anymore. The Hagar fight, the Miller Lite commercials, the suspensions for arguing with umpires, the Pine Tar game fiasco, the marshmallow salesman, the outburst against the New York Times researcher, the tirade against New York Post's Henry Hecht were all adding up. Remember, that's the guy who told everybody that he was full of shit in the middle of the clubhouse. Now he was drunk and disorderly in California. The headlines this time had a more acerbic tone. The media had a field day with Billy, and many of those reporters and commentators soured on him for good. And this is when things really take a turn from Billy.
Yeah?
Before, there was a lot of guys in the press corps who were around when he was a player.
Yeah.
They knew him, they knew Mickey Mantle, they knew Whitey Ford, and there was all kind of this little camaraderie they all had with each other.
Sure. Yeah.
The 80s is a different time. The 80s is what the 70s were, even up to the 70s, were a time where if a guy got pulled over, he could talk to the cop and get, hey, how about some tickets for your family for the game and all that?
Yeah.
And you could get out of it and it wouldn't be in the paper. It goes from that to the 80s, which is these guys are lightning rods now. It went from everyone will do their best to cover it up to everyone will do their best to expose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if
is it because there's money in it?
Yeah, that's what people want. We're doing a show called Crime and Sports, so people are interested.
You know what I mean? That's why it changed.
They figure, it became like the money became bigger, and it became less about I want to be buddies with Mickey Mantle, than I want to make a big story that's going to get me here. Fuck Mickey Mantle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's.
I want to be buddies with him so I can get paid for talking about what he does.
These athletes now it's crazy, but like anything they do is insanely reported. Anything.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys, if your life was under this much of a microscope, you'd be horrified. Anybody would. Yeah. Like most of these guys now have to be so between the lines, it's not even funny. Because any swerving of it at all, and it's all they're going to talk about. So Christ almighty. So think about it. So anyway, so they say the next generation, this is from the book, of writers tended to look at Billy with more scorn. This new generation, they're trying to get their names out and all that kind of shit. And this sensationalism is becoming journalism. Tabloid shit is becoming a thing, more of a thing, whereas it wasn't before. It just wasn't in sports. He was the guy who disrespected umpires, was frequently suspended, and had a penchant for being where alcohol and fistfights occurred. So much so, it was a source of parody on TV. For many of them, it was not a picture they found intriguing or amusing. Billy still charmed many columnists and announcers. He had friends in high places. National broadcasters like Howard Cosell, Joe Gargiola, Kurt Gowdy, and Bob Uecker were vocal Billy supporters. Again, they're all from another generation.
Yeah, right.
All those guys. Some of those guys played at the same time. Joe Gargiola and him played in World Series against each other, for Christ's sake. So, Bob Uecker, I mean, if you're a drunk, I think you're just friends with Bob Uecker because he's the biggest fucking drunk who ever existed. Yeah.
He was so good at it.
So good
at it. Even when he was sober, he was real good at it.
He was real good at it, yeah. So it's interesting. They say, but the tenor of the criticism of Billy, especially in the nation's newspapers, unmistakably changed in the mid-1980s. Billy remained popular with fans, but for the rest of his life, he frequently encountered a sector of the media whose opinions had primarily been shaped by the police blotter notices of Billy's conduct. They knew what they thought of him before they met him, if they ever met him. Who could blame them for their viewpoint given the mounting misbehavior? But it was evident in their writing that Billy was someone to distrust or avoid. This segment of the media did not see him as endearingly imperfect and oddly productive. They were either wary of Billy or repulsed by him. Yeah. There was a time period when it was like, it was cool to be like out of control and still get your job done. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a
Functional
cool
alcoholic.
Yeah, there was crazy movie stars that did that, writers, your Hunter S. Thompsons, guys like that. That was a real cool thing for a while. Yeah. And then it wasn't anymore. Like then everybody went to rehab and you were still here doing your crazy shit.
Yeah. That's probably from the depths of it, right? Like the extreme of it all.
Yeah, it is.
You can do a minimal amount and keep it together, Johnny Depp, but as soon as it gets fucking outrageous.
It's Belushi dying and everybody going to rehab, and then you had guys who, in 1986, you had guys going on talk shows talking about how they're born-again Christians and they don't drink and they love their wives, and then, 12 years earlier, they were the fucking symbols.
Downey Jr.
Top of the heap of hedonism. You know what I mean? Now they're like, really, it's Christianity and sobriety is really the right things. It's weird, the 80s. Real weird. You had guys like Ozzy Osbourne were saying they weren't doing drugs anymore. You know what I mean? Even though they were. But they had to say they weren't.
Very clear, yeah.
Yeah. So they said on the most palpable level, the Newport Beach incident added up to nothing except that it became clear another discrete easily resurrect. I'm sorry. That it became another discredit easily resurrected, one that fit a developing caricature. In the timeline of Billy's life, however, the confrontation in Newport Beach became a turning point. Soon after, Billy and Jill reconciled. Gee, was he not married anymore, Jill? Is that what happened? If he's still married, all that shit was for nothing here. Jill said, it was a terrible time we went through, and people, of course, have asked me why I didn't leave him. But when you think about it, he was all I had. He was who I was in love with. He promised me that he would make it good and that we would be together. He was going to leave Heather. He said he would be with me and take care of me for the rest of my life, and he did. Okay?
Wow.
So, June of 1984, Yogi Berra, who's the new manager of the Yankees, is already on the cutting block. He's already on the chopping block. He's already
talking about getting rid of him.
They're already talking about firing him and bringing back Billy Martin again.
Okay.
Which is crazy. They said Steinbrenner confirmed that Berra was on a timetable to turn things around, and he admitted for the first time that Martin was, quote, at the top of the list of possible replacements. Stop firing him then.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous, man. But they said Yogi Berra will be my manager next week, but that's not to say Billy Martin will not be back as manager someday. If I think that that's the right move, I'll make it. I told Billy when we met in Tampa that if I ever made a change, he'd be the one guy I'd consider at the top of my list. Okay. So poor Yogi just has this hanging over his head the whole time.
Yeah.
And they go to Billy and he goes, yeah, sure. I'd come back. Yeah, He said, I didn't appreciate that some people said I was looking over Yogi's shoulder. It was that I don't like, but, Yeah. So Billy, after all the incident in Newport Beach, he is found not guilty of drunken disorderly conduct, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. That's one thing he's always guilty of.
Drunken disorder.
Yeah. They talk about the arresting order detailing the strong odor of alcohol and how Billy was staggering back and forth and all this type of shit. So, yeah, anyway, he's there. Not guilty. November 10th, 1984 here, they're talking about how Billy again, this is fun, Jim Beattie is a pitcher, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So Jim Beattie said, quote, talking about, was it as maddening as it seemed being in the middle of George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin? He said, I guess it was, but at the time I was only a rookie with the Yankees and didn't know anything else. I thought that was the way it always was, and it is in New York City. I could handle it then, and I could handle it now, and I did get to win a World Series game, but I never did have the fun I could have had. Mm-hmm. And he said, Billy Martin retarded my development as a pitcher.
Yeah.
It reached the point where you were pitching in the fifth inning with one eye on the dugout. Billy surrounded himself with veterans and didn't trust his younger players. Everybody always says that about Billy.
Ah, really?
He trusts the guys he trusts, and he knows the guys he trusts. Now they're saying, Billy's saying, well, if I manage again, it's going to cost him $1 million. He said, if I come back, it won't be less than $1 million. If they can pay players $1 million, they can pay managers $1 million.
All right.
That's what he said, which was the future. Now he was still he signed a 10-year contract 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Apparently, Martin will remain a Steinbrenner employee through 1992 unless Steinbrenner pays him out and lets him go. Mm-hmm. So he's already employed with the team.
Yeah.
I've never heard. This is crazy. There's a manager. He's fired. He still works there, but he's still on the team, too, so he might be manager again. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world.
And demanding high pay.
How I don't understand how George thought this was a good idea to, you can't put a manager out there and say, well, Billy Martin's in the front office, and if you fuck up, he's coming in there. Don't worry about it. Obviously, he's not going to have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Who can manage like that? That's crazy. Anyway, he says, I thought I'd enjoy this year off the field, but I've missed baseball a lot. I'd be having a cocktail at 5 o'clock, and I'd be thinking, I should be at the ballpark. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
You were sweating and waiting for the clock to turn to 5 o'clock so you could drink
shaking.
without.
That's what you're doing here.
Yeah, shaking and having the DTs. That was your problem. So that's what he said anyway, and he's ready to manage again. He says this, quote, I relate to the truck driver. The country is full of battlers. It was founded on battlers. I get a lot of trouble, but I speak the truth.
All right.
That's what he says. I might be a dick, but at least I'm honest. Okay.
Speak the truth.
So Billy is having some problems off the field. The book tells us, quote, Billy's life away from the field was going through yet another transition. He was distancing himself from Heather. He went home to Blackhawk after the regular season and spent time in the Bay Area. Morabito recalls going to lunch with with Billy and Heather at Joe DiMaggio's restaurant on San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. They went down to the tourist area to do it.
Yeah.
But it was one of the last times Morabito saw Heather and Billy together. According to news reports about the divorce proceedings filed about a year later, there was no final act that spurred the separation. Depending on whose side of the story you want to believe, the trigger was the Newport Beach episode, or was it something more complex, a falling out that evolved over months, if not years. But it is indisputable that there was no decisive moment that signaled the end of Billy's marriage with Heather. So I think it was Jill saying, you got to get a divorce if you want to be with me. So they say it was not a competition, but to Billy's friends and family, Jill had won in the love triangle. She would remain at his side for the next 5 years, omnipresent and in command of many aspects of Billy's life. They didn't marry until January 1988, but long before that, Jill had taken control of Billy's finances, hatched a new marketing plan for him, and for a little while gotten him to stop drinking completely. That's not going to last. That ain't going to last, man. As Billy and Jill grew closer, several of Billy's best and oldest pals, Eddie Sapir and Lou Fagone among them, felt pushed away and stepped into the shadows of his life. Some, but not all, severed their ties with Billy, feeling that Billy or Jill wanted the relationship to end. Jill said in 2013, yeah, I know. I became the woman who took the great guy from everyone. All these people hate me for that. In any new relationship, in the newness, both parties spend more intense time together and other people feel left out or feel eliminated. Isn't that common in a new relationship? So it happened with us. That's how it works. But Billy had a lot of people in his life. He was used to doing a lot of different things and not all of them good for him. Jill did not approve of all the outings and junkets and time spent with his buddies out drinking. She was not fond of the hunting trips.
Oh.
She said, I didn't like the killing of animals. So yes, my presence probably kept him from some trips and outings. But all I cared about was the time I had with him. He was a wild and crazy guy, but we had a blast. He was a busy guy, and he wanted to be with me and have me with him.
Sure,
so yes, we were together, and a lot of people went the other way. Just say it. I told him, you're not doing that stuff anymore.
I've had enough.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it's just kind of the way it happened. You told him, I don't like you killing animals. Stop doing it.
Right.
You told him, I don't like you hanging out with Mickey Morabito. You get super drunk all the time. Stop doing it.
Stop it.
Stop it. That's what it was. That's one thing that bothers me when people do that in a relationship. They'll force somebody to stop doing something or to start doing something, and then they deny it. Well, I mean, I wasn't me. I just was saying. No, it's you. You told them to. Just say you told them to. That's fine.
But you can go for days and days and days about changing people in their relationship. For Christ's sake, if you fell in love with them, leave them alone.
Yes, and then sometimes I guess it probably is healthier for Billy to not go on weekend-long drinking binges with Mickey Morabito, but
while he's shooting random drunk in the with weapons.
But he's also a 55-year-old man, and he knows what he's doing. And if he's doing all this because of the sweat of his brow, shut the fuck up and let him do it if he wants to. That's the other thing. Billy, in December of 1984, says he's having a ball, not managing, but he's sure ready to come back. They say the bellman had transported Billy Martin's luggage down to the lobby. No small achievement. Billy the Kid travels heavy. The guy said 8 pairs of boots and 7 suits. That's how much he had. Yeah, Martin said, I only got 4 pairs of boots. Corrected him. Why are you bringing 4 pairs of boots on the road?
I don't know. But yeah, that's a great question. If you're
Who's
going
doing
to out in the woods, how many pairs
Anywhere.
of boots do you need? Yeah.
We go on the road. I bring the pair of sneakers I'm wearing on my feet, and I bring a pair for the shows.
Yeah.
Throw that in a suitcase. I don't bring 4. Let's bring 4 pairs of fucking dunks with me next time. Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah,
That'd be goddamn crazy. So Billy said, I'm going to come back. 1 more year will be enough. So he's like, I'm coming back here. The Yankees weren't doing that great. He says that by the All-Star break, when the Yankees were 10 games below 500 here, George had asked him back. He said, George wanted me to take it. I told him it would be crazy to fire Yogi. I said, give him a chance. George listened, and Yogi did a good job. It's nice that George listens to me. So, yeah, he said it would have been bad to take the managing job during the summer because maybe everybody would be saying that I was backstabbing Yogi from the beginnings. We've been friends for 35 years, and I wouldn't backstab him. I love Yogi, but I want to see the Yankees win too. So,
yeah, you like people, but if the team stinks while they're around, they gotta go.
That's it. It doesn't matter. Everybody loves Yogi.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Who says anything bad about the guy?
That's the problem with hiring a guy like Yogi is how do you fire him? Because then everybody hates you for firing him. Yeah, it's a tough thing.
Getting rid of a fan favorite. Fuck.
Yeah. That's why, like, back in the day when I still gave a shit about the Yankees, like I didn't want Don Mattingly to be the Yankees manager because you got to fire him eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually he will. That's the thing. There's no manager that's been anywhere.
He's going to lose it eventually.
Till they die. You know what I mean? You're getting fired. It's the only way managing ends. You're either retiring 1 out of 100 or you're getting fired, It's like a sitcom. It ends by being canceled. Yeah. Unless you're Seinfeld, it ends by you being canceled. That's it.
At the end of it, it's ugly.
Yep. There's always the same end. Anyway, we have Billy, March of 1985, was a special guest ring announcer at WrestleMania.
Is that right?
This is so funny. On Small Town Murder, like last week, something happened on the day of the first WrestleMania. So we brought that up, and this is being brought up too.
Is it the same one?
Yeah, same with the first one. WrestleMania, 1985,
Wow.
Madison Square Garden. Yeah, he was one of the announcers for the main event, I believe, with Hogan and Mr. T versus Piper and Orndorff there, and Bob Orton in the corner. Yeah. So April 29th, 1985 here. Billy Martin is back as the Yankee manager. So all that shit he talked about
for nothing. He's
back again anyway. He don't want to come in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Horse shit. He's back. Steinbrenner said, I knew about it during the game. I'm sorry. They're talking about one of the Yankees, the general manager, Clyde King, said, I knew about it during the game. Mr. Steinbrenner said he hoped Yogi could have gone out as a winner. So he was getting fired that day no matter what.
Wow. So
he said, yep. He said, I could come back as Yankee manager if George would only take back what he said, which is you're fired. So, yeah, you can't have that. And here we go. Barra said, I feel like I've achieved most everything in baseball. I've won an MVP. I'm in the Hall of Fame, and I've won a pennant in each league. One thing I haven't done is win a world championship as a manager. What are you going to do? Okay.
You want that.
Yeah. So the book explains it. In the middle of the Yankees' third and final game in Chicago, Steinbrenner called Billy. George asked Billy if he would take over for Barra. Billy happily agreed. He was already under contract but received a raise and a bonus. Billy flew to Texas, the Yankees' next stop after Chicago. The task of informing Barra of his dismissal was given to Clyde King, the Yankees' general manager.
Oh, boy.
King entered Barra's office after the game while Steinbrenner issued a statement that read, This action has been taken by the Yankees, and we feel that it is in the best interests of the club. I would rather fire 25 players than to fire Yogi, but we all know that would be impossible. Yeah. So he can't say Yogi's a piece of shit because the crowd will burn his house down. the fans will burn his house down. So he has to go, we love Yogi, and I'd rather get rid of every damn player we have than Yogi. But,
This is what it is.
I mean, he's like a lovable stuffed mascot. You can't just throw him in the garbage. It's no good. Yeah. So they said Berra did not open the door to his office after King left. In the clubhouse, Steinbrenner's statement was distributed to the players. He said Baylor read it, turned, and kicked a garbage can across the room. Few players had much to say other than to express their sympathy for Berra. Baylor is Don Baylor, by the way. Ricky Henderson, said he was looking forward to seeing Billy again. I'm shocked he remembered him.
He doesn't know.
Hey, we had a little Italian manager with a mustache. He used to yell at people a lot back in Oakland. Yeah. Really, Billy? We did. Yeah, that was me, Billy. That was me. So Yogi, after about 30 minutes, Yogi opened the door to his office, and Yogi said to the reporters, quote, "I'm not in a very good mood, but this is still a very good ball club, and they're getting a good manager in Billy Martin. I don't think my players laid down on me." He walked around the clubhouse, and he told all the players to play for Billy. He said he's a good man. It's not his fault that Steinbrenner is the Yankees owner, basically. Listen, now you don't want me to be fired, but what are you going to do? Yogi and Billy stayed friends, which is good.
That's great.
He said, quote, "I had to accept that I was let go after the 83 season, but deep down it hurt, and I really missed it. Thank God I'm back," Billy said. "As I told somebody today, how long can you keep watering your garden?" And that's not a euphemism. He's literally...
What does that mean?
It sounds like he's like getting ass on the side or something like that, but I think he means he's actually bored and has to like do gardening because he has no job. Yeah. 85 Yankees are 97-64 for second in the AL East. I remember as a little kid being very excited because the Yankees were half decent, and then it really went downhill after that. They fired Yogi after 16 games that year. He was 6-10, and they fired him.
Jesus Christ!
Really quick in a baseball season.
Right out of that's a lot. A tenth of the season.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's nothing.
Yeah.
So, this is a much different, you got your Mattingly's and you got your, Jesus, this is like all of my childhood baseball cards here. Ken Griffey and Ron Guidry, Ron Hassey. Gee, he went back and forth.
Yeah.
He sucked. Of course, Mattingly. You got your, Mike Pagliarulo. I always loved Mike Pagliarulo because his name is Pagliarulo. It's a long Italian last name. I think he has a similar amount of, his name's less long than mine, but it felt like he had something. He wore number 13, and I wore number 13 in Little League, so I thought that was cool.
Missing a couple syllables.
Missing a couple of letters, but I was like, long Italian last name, wears 13. I love this guy. Too bad he only hit 205. Otherwise, could have stayed around a lot longer. But, Rod Scurry, we've done an episode on him. Ed Whitson, Dave Winfield, of course. Speaking of Ed Whitson, here is something about Ed Whitson from the book. Quote, "Spring training in 1985 was calm. The Yankees had acquired Yogi's son, Dale, to be a utility infielder and perhaps platoon at third base with Pagliarulo." There you go. Yeah. If there was a frequent storyline out of Fort Lauderdale that spring, it was the unusual father-son combo now in Yankee pinstripes, because Yogi started out as the manager and Dale Barra's his son. The Yankees had a host of new players besides Dale Barra and Henderson. There were the talkative, excitable pitcher Eddie Lee Whitson, who was signed as a free agent. Raised in the mountains of eastern Tennessee, he was not much prepared for the pressure or culture shock of being a Yankee.
Yeah. That's got to be crazy.
Yeah, you're from the hills and shit.
Yeah.
He was so confused by the bridges and tunnels of the New York metropolitan area that teammates or a coach had to drive him from his house in New Jersey to Yankee Stadium. He just gave up. I can't do it.
Wow.
I can't make it there. That's wild. When he tried to drive himself, one time he ended up on Staten Island, which is so hard to do because you have to take a fucking special bridge there.
Yeah, Staten Island's so far away.
He's sitting on a ferry going, why are we on a ferry now? What's happening?
Yeah. Is that the Liberty Bell?
It's hilarious. So why are we what's going on here? What's happening? Holy shit. I smell
cheesesteaks, guys.
What's going on? Hey, I see some authentic Baltimore crabs. What are we doing? Where am I? So Martin is saying that perhaps he's saying he wants to manage for a couple years, then move into the front office and after training a successor.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
He's going to train his replacement?
That's what he said. He said, George called this afternoon, and he said he'd like to know if I'd like to come back to managing. He said the team needs me. He told me things he wanted to see on the club, and I told him those are the things I did when I was there before.
Yeah.
So, of course. So here he is. There it is. He is, there's also May 1st, 1985. Here we go. New Haven paper running Billy Watch contest. Okay.
Oh, what are they watching?
Billy Martin has been back as the manager of the Yankees for only one game, and a daily newspaper is running a contest on when he'll be fired by George Steinbrenner.
Oh, that's
Yes.
what we're watching.
We're watching when.
Countdown.
Yep,
Yeah.
the Journal Courier of New Haven features an entry coupon in today's editions announcing its Billy Watch contest to see who can guess when Billy Martin will be fired and who will replace him. Oh, it's you got to do a double here.
Double, yeah, it's a parlay.
Now that Billy is back for the fourth time as the New York Yankees manager, the obvious question is, when will the boss dump him again? This is fucking amazing. Closest guess wins a trip to Yankee Stadium for himself and 3 of his friends. All righty. We're kind of looking forward to show the fans how the fans are feeling about Martin. That's what they said. Anyway, Gene Michael, the general manager at this, or not, I think he's somewhere in the front office, said within a few weeks after he got there in 1985, I knew Billy was going to be a better manager than he was in 1983. He said he was a little distracted in 83, but in 85, a lot of that off-the-field stuff was behind him. Yeah. He looked better and was eating better. He was sharp during games and doing all his usual things, stealing the team's signs, taking the players, talking to the players a lot during the game. He watched the interactions of the opposing catcher and opposing manager and instinctively understood everything they were trying to do. Having been a middle infielder, he could watch their body language and know what they were planning. He was always 1 or 2 innings ahead of his opposing manager, and that guy knew that, which got the opposing manager to start second-guessing himself.
Oh.
Billy had that edge. He hadn't completely turned back the clock to 1977, but it was the old Billy in a lot of ways. The Yankees' longtime trainer, Gene Monahan, also felt Billy had changed in 1985. He thought Billy had reestablished some measure of control over his life. He said Billy was a tough guy, but he had a soft, compassionate side, and that year I think he was willing to show the players more of that other side of him. He was getting a little older. I think one of his best attributes was that he was very sentimental. He had a lot of empathy for people, and he read people very well right from the start. Billy knew how to manage a game and knew how to manage personalities, too. With the 85 team, he had guys like Winfield and Randolph who didn't need much from him. Billy would say, you play hard every day and I'll have your back, and he would do that. If Steinbrenner or an umpire went against one of those guys, he would fight to the death to protect him. He said, but there were the younger guys like Pags and Meacham, meaning Mike Pagliarulo was Pags and Bobby Meacham was a rookie shortstop back then. I remember him pretty clearly. Or the rookie outfielder Dan Pasqua, who went back and forth to the White Sox, he sucked, who needed Billy, and he was there for them. He would alternatively ride their ass and coddle them to get the most out of them. He was always very good around young people. He had an instinct about what to say. He'd have these half-hour conversations in a hotel lobby with a young player. Ron Guidry, the pitcher, said he was the same way with a teenager or college kid he had just met. Here was this tough bastard, and he'd be talking at length about their lives and their dreams. If it was a younger kid, he'd be sure to go to the kid's parents and say, that's a great kid you got there. He said, we were tired of losing, but by 85, it was more businesslike. We were like, okay, Billy, we don't care about the drama of all the other off-the-field stuff. Just help us win. You do your job during the games, and we'll do yours. Mm-hmm. He said if Billy did come to the clubhouse looking unsteady from a late night of boozing, which happened sporadically in the beginning of the season and a little more often toward the end, the trainer, Gene Monahan, had a ready remedy. He used it to perk up players, too, several of whom were heavy drinkers. Everybody take notes if you're a drunk, because these guys are professional drunks, and this guy is a team trainer who figured out how to thwart the hangover. Monahan periodically gave Billy a vitamin 12 shot in those circumstances. Okay, B12, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know how many people are going to be.
It's just energy.
They could probably take it orally nowadays, probably.
Yeah, well, the B12 shot works so much better than the pill.
Just don't know how much you're going to be home injecting yourself just from a hangover.
Yeah, you want track marks because you're such an alcoholic?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Why you got track marks? You a junkie? No,
it's not heroin at all.
I'm a drunk. I'm not a junkie. I never taken a bit.
A lot of people now,
garbage.
the B12 is going in their IVs, and they do those in the morning.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Their IVs.
Imagine getting an IV, because I've done it several times, but imagine doing it frequently, like all the time.
You've done what several times?
Got an IV because I was
you're hungover?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No.
You never saw that as a problem? No, I've never gotten an IV because I'm hungover. No, never in my life have I done that. You know me, dude. I'm not a drinker.
Yes, I thought it was a problem, man. That's why I don't do them anymore. So
but
I don't
4
drink
times
that much
is not. That's you didn't realize too soon it was a problem. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
fool
shame
me
on me.
5 times.
Fool me 3 times. Fool me 4 times, though, Jimmy. That's too many. It's too many times to be fooled.
That's a lot of fooling.
That's a lot of fooling.
I've fooled around a lot with booze, James.
I guess so. Yeah, I've done the same with weed smoking, but never had to have an IV from it.
That is the benefit of marijuana that has alleviated a lot of my problems.
No. Yeah. I just wake up and go, how much pie did I eat last night? Jesus. I'm not hungover, but I had too much pie. It's just too much.
I got a story for you later.
We'll get into it. So, Gene Monahan, he also mixed up a concoction that he said was a recipe passed down from the 1920s when Yankees trainers had to work on a hungover Babe Ruth almost daily. I just imagine this laminated thing on the wall. It's been there since the 20s, all yellowed.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth's Go Juice, and they're like, all right, mix this together with that.
Imagine, like, how hard must it have been back then with the quality of booze being clearly way lower than it is today, and then the lack of aftercare, like
and all the
people
games
today
were
are
at 1
drinking.
o'clock.
Right.
That's the other
alcoholics
thing. They didn't have till 8 to get their shit together.
High-end alcoholics today are so pampered and babied.
Oh,
you got IVs
Pedialyte,
every
they're
morning.
drinking.
And
Fuck out of here.
Regardless of the IV, you're right. Pedialyte or Gatorade or
something.
Fucking any
Anything.
electrolyte drink, you're getting pampered.
Yeah.
You're so lucky.
Back then it was
They're extending your alcoholic booze life by 10 years.
Back then it was just hair of the dog, that or nothing. So they said we'd mix seltzer with some extra strength bufferin and add a little peppermint. So seltzer, aspirin, and peppermint.
I mean, that's not a bad plan. It's just thin. That's just thinning your blood.
Bubbles feel good, and
it's just thinning your blood and hydrating. That's it.
We'd put some coloring in it to make it look more appealing, and some fruit for the nutrition. We'd shake it to make it foam and bubble, and then quietly take it over to Billy or a player and say, okay, this worked for the Babe all those years, and now only our team knows about it. It's been passed down through the decades. And, I do think it worked most of the time. More often than not, Billy would come to me in about 20 minutes and say, Gino, I feel pretty good. So it's half psychosomatic, too. You mix enough stuff and foam, and it looks like this creation that we made for Babe Ruth, and you go, oh, this will make me feel better.
Remember back to the beach when Frankie Avalon?
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that shit he drank in the guard tower? He fucking screamed like it was like coffee and seltzer and Alka-Seltzer, and there's all kinds of crazy shit in it. But that's what you had to do because the shit today didn't exist then.
And everybody had their own concoction, too.
Yeah.
Like, here's a recipe passed down from this and that. And it's everybody. That was the old thing, was trying to fucking figure out
whatever
how to
this
fix
elixir
your
is that
hangover.
you make. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. That's strange. So here we go. Here's a story here. Ben Houston, a rancher in Colorado and Wyoming who's known Martin for 20 years, describes him as a man of high morals and deep religious convictions. Billy.
Oh, really?
Billy now.
High morals.
High morals.
Bangs as young as he can get. Deep religious.
Yeah.
And
fucks
then keeps
another
banging
woman.
another one while he's married.
Keeps 2 in a house, drinks till
Very
he's...
religious.
Yeah, he's very pious, Jimmy. Very pious. I hear the Pope knocks guys out in bars a lot. I really heard that.
Follows the good book.
Yeah, they picked the new one. That's what they picked him on. He said, he's pretty good in a bar, this guy, I'll tell you what.
Oh, boy.
So Ben Houston, anyway, he said, that's what he said. He said, he's the kind of man you want your family to be around.
Really?
Yeah, he said, when he calls here, all my kids line up to talk to him. He's just a super person. Asked about the well-publicized fights he's been in, mostly in bars here, Harold Wong said he had witnessed several and that none were Martin's fault. None. Zero.
All on everybody else.
Yep. He said he did not start them. He didn't even ask for them. Now, that Houston guy, Ben Houston, who's a cattle rancher named Houston, by the way, which is pretty awesome. Houston told of a time 3 or 4 years ago when he and Martin were sitting in a bar near Denver. Houston said some guy just walked up and belted Billy in the jaw.
Oh.
He was knocked to the floor, but he got up and asked the stranger why he did it. I just wanted to be able to say that I knocked Billy Martin off a bar stool, Houston remembered the stranger as saying. And what did Martin do? He said Billy kept his cool. He asked the guy to apologize. He said that then he punched him, right? And Houston said, no, he didn't do anything. He didn't want to create a scene.
Oh.
I don't believe this at all.
No.
Not at all, considering.
He loves causing a scene.
Why'd you do that, buddy? You know what? You owe me an apology. Does that sound like Billy Martin?
No, not at all.
Not at all. He just sounds like, let's go outside, asshole. That's what he says. That's Billy Martin. Remember, so they go on to say, Mickey Mantle, obviously, was friends and buddies with him. He said, on the field, they were all business. There were times when Mantle recalled when Casey Stengel, the manager, would try to shake the team out of a slump by telling Martin, who made up and drive for what he lacked in talent, to stir the pot. Mantle remembered saying that he'd say, we're getting too dull. Go out there and make something happen. And the something would be go start a fight, Billy Martin. Right. That's what it was. That's what he'd tell him. Then Mantle told of the other Martin. He said he'll give you anything he's got. He said he remembers my kids' birthdays and my wife's. On my mom's 80th birthday, he called her to wish her a happy birthday.
Wow.
And a lot of people have these stories. Oh, he's this and he'll punch you, but boy, he'll bring your grandmother a bouquet of flowers afterwards.
Right.
It's very fucking interesting here. He's just a lot of different dichotomies with Billy. That's it. Eddie Sapir said, when he wins, it's like the dear Lord put some life in Billy, and when he loses, it's like he dies a little.
Oh.
That's Billy pretty much. So anyway, we go on with Billy. Apparently, everything seems to be fine here for a while. By the way, here's a story about a raccoon. Lou Fagone. Let's go back to Lou Fagone here.
Yeah.
Okay. He said behind his house, there are pens built for several hundred quail and pheasant he's raising. Fagone said the birds were multiplying rapidly, in part because Martin, who takes no prisoners when hunting, hasn't got the heart to kill them. So he can't kill his own birds.
He's got them, they're overproducing, and now it's a nuisance, and he just won't do anything about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said a raccoon was killing a few until Martin trapped it. He said, but he didn't even have the heart to kill the raccoon, so he turned it loose.
Oh.
That's Billy here. Another one of Martin's lawyers said he got various bills for bird care. He said those birds must live in the Waldorf Astoria out there. Yeah. By the way, he's now settled his business with the IRS.
Okay.
Which one thing I'll give Steinbrenner credit for, again, he's loyal to his people, is he's bailed several players out of IRS troubles. Several. Wow. Yeah, remember Darryl Strawberry, him basically playing a season for back taxes is what he was paying for.
Right. Yeah.
George just signed him for whatever he owed in back taxes.
Just fixed it for him.
Yeah. Lou Piniella said, I think Billy's calmer now. He's still intense, he's still demanding, but I think now, shall we say, once in a while, he'll look the other way.
Okay.
Steinbrenner's in the paper praising his performance, called him a premier manager who is getting the job done.
Oh.
Not too shabby. He said he can do it. Billy says this. He says, some people say it's Don Baylor's leadership or this or that. Oh, this is Steinbrenner saying this. That's baloney. It's Billy Martin. He's got them playing, running, and working together. That's right. Here's a little quick story here about Toby Harris' shoes. Okay. Billy Martin had his shoes and socks knocked off, and a trainer was dabbing ointment where his toes on the left foot had been pinched. What happened to you, a clubhouse visitor said. I borrowed a pair of shoes when I came back. They cut off the blood to my toes. I got them from Toby Harris. Make me remember to give them back. So Toby Harris has small feet, apparently.
Oh, you're going to remember.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever forget.
No. So here's a story here. This is a game. This was Phil Niekro going for his 300th victory. Phil Niekro's a knuckleball pitcher who pitched forever, since the 60s. He looked like he was 65 years old. He had all gray hair. He was this short, like, paunchy old man with gray hair, but he was only like 45.
Oh.
But he looked 65 easy, and he was out there pitching. As a kid, I just remember thinking that he was he looked like my grandparents, but older. Like, I thought he was like in his 60s, late 60s.
40-year-old man.
Yeah.
45.
So anyway, the Negro family drove up from Ohio in hopes of seeing 46-year-old Phil capture victory 300. The game was tied 2-2 in the sixth inning when the Yankees seemed on the verge of getting to Detroit pitcher Mickey Mahler, a journeyman left-handed reliever. The Yankees had runners at third and first base with 2 outs. Left-handed hitting Mike Pagliarulo was due up next. Now, Pagliarulo's a right-handed guy but hits left-handed.
Yeah.
It's just his thing. Pagliarulo was not usually pinch hit for against lefties, but Mahler had yielded only 1 hit since coming on in the first inning for Detroit starter Juan Berenguer, who gave up both Yankee runs. Mahler also has a history with Pagliarulo. Pag said he was very tough on me. Apparently, though, before he could get to home plate, Pagliarulo was called to the Yankees' dugout, and Billy could have chosen to substitute right-handed hitter Andre Robertson, who hit .328 and 125 at-bats in 1985. Billy Sample, who hit .288 that year, was another possibility. There was a third option. Pagliarulo had been a switch hitter in high school and college, and he still hit right-handed in the Yankees' intra-squad games and during informal workouts, just to fill in as a right-hander.
Sure.
In fact, a week earlier, the Yankees had played a simulated game to get extra work for one of their pitchers who was coming off the disabled list. In it, Pagliarulo batted right-handed and had 4 hits, including a double off the left field wall. Billy left that day convinced that Pag should try to return to switch hitting again this season when it ended, and he had a winter to work on it. Piniella, the hitting coach, was impressed with Pagliarulo's right-handed stroke too, but the offseason plan got accelerated starting at that moment inside Tiger Stadium. Billy told Pags to go up to the plate right-handed.
Oh.
He hasn't hit right-handed in a major league game before, so this is like, what? You don't do that now.
No.
Pagliarulo did what he was told, but his heart wasn't in it. As he dug into the dirt of the right-handed box, Detroit catcher Bob Melvin said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Bob Melvin?
Yes, future manager. Yeah. Pags said, "What's it look like I'm doing? I'm trying to get a hit."
Yeah.
Doing what I'm told. Yeah, I'm a young guy. I'm going to go be in the minors if I don't do this. Pagliarulo later on said, "I hadn't hit right-handed in a real game since I was in the minors in 1981. But I would do anything Billy told me. In general, Billy didn't like to take me out of games because he felt our team defense was much better with me at third base." Pags was a good third baseman when he was young. Yeah. I honestly didn't want to bat righty because I didn't feel like I was prepared, but I didn't want to get taken out of the game either. Mm-hmm. In the press box, among most of the players in the Yankee dugout, the consensus was that Billy had asked the impossible. Pagliarulo looked overmatched and struck out. The Yankees lost 5-2, but the Pagliarulo move was prominent tabloid story back in New York. Had Billy lost his mind? The Yankees had lost 6 consecutive games and were now had the players batting from the wrong side of the plate. Oh. One New York columnist was really on him a lot. Lou Piniella said it certainly backfired, but it was a tied game. That's not why we lost. Billy drew attention to himself with those chances. That's why other managers never try them. If it goes wrong, you get hammered. It was certainly unorthodox in the middle of a major league game, I would say. For sure. So Billy here, they said there's an article here saying anger drives Billy Martin to succeed. And this is Jim Murray, a writer. He says, "You don't get too close to Billy Martin. He praises sparingly, criticizes lashingly. Baseball's not a game to him. It's life. Billy always plays as if life and has the bases loaded and it's starting to rain. He doesn't enjoy what he does, but he keeps coming back to it. He seldom smiles, almost never laughs. Something has to be eating away at Billy. He stays thin and gaunt no matter how much he eats or drinks. Somebody took something away from Billy at an early age and hasn't forgiven the world since," a psychiatrist once guessed. But Billy just sneers. Psychiatry doesn't make his lineup. This is the bullshit that he's doing here. On a recent swing through Texas, the manager was suffering back spasms. He called in the Rangers team physician, an old friend, for an injection. Somehow it went wrong. The needle went in too far and pierced a lung, which collapsed.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Martin was rushed to the hospital. Long, patient bed rest was subscribed. The lung did not reinflate. There was like a big bubble sticking out of my chest, he recalls. Nevertheless, he called for his clothes. The doctors protested, refusing to sign his release. He said, I signed myself out of the hospital. What was I going to do, lie there and read box scores?
I suppose.
They said, why did he take a chance and come back on half a lung? He said, why did I come back in the first place? I got a 5-year contract with the Yankees. I get paid whether I manage or not. I came back because it's one of the greatest honors in the world. Why, this country needs the Yankees. Like hot dogs, apple pie, the flag, and the New York Yankees. You want this country to turn into a national league? Yeah. Okay. Eddie Whitson incident here. Okay. Yeah. It's from the book. Volatile Eddie Lee Whitson was scheduled to start that night's game, but Billy considered Whitson, with some justification, undependable under pressure. He can't even find his way to the ballpark, for Christ's sake. Billy announced that Whitson was being scratched from his start. Billy had a reason for the switch. Whatchamacallit, as Billy tactlessly referred to Whitson that evening, had a tender arm. Not Whitson, whatchamacallit. Yeah. When approached by reporters, Whitson was stunned to discover that his arm was bothering him. He said he was healthy. He goes, my arm hurts? I didn't know that.
Right.
This turn of events did not sit well with either Billy or the high-strung Whitson. The two had a touchy relationship to that point, although there had been no outlandish disagreements. But privately, Whitson despised the way Billy wanted to call every pitch and routinely made every outing a do-or-die affair. Billy, meanwhile, distrusted Whitson after his horrible start to the season and wondered if Whitson had the stomach for the pressure of playing in New York, which was an imperative attribute to Billy. Since the two had coexisted under an unspoken truce, Billy kept Whitson in the rotation. Whitson responded by winning most of his decisions from June to late August. Beginning with a start on August 31st, Whitson's pitching stats had been alarming. In 4 starts, he'd given up 31 hits and 19 runs in 19.2 innings. That's not good. His ERA, good God, his ERA in that period was 7.32.
Yeah, that's not good.
Bad. With the Yankees in a death spiral, Billy was sure that Whitson was not the best choice to end the losing streak. Instead, he gave the ball to spot starter Rich Bordy for the first game in Baltimore. In the visitors' clubhouse at Memorial Stadium, Whitson stomped around the room. His teammates ignored him, which is what you do if a guy's stomping around in baseball.
Yeah.
Whitson was an odd fit on the '85 Yankees. He was liked, but he had few friends. His interests were hunting and fishing. They should get along with Billy great then. That's all Billy does.
Should be fine.
And he kept
drinking in there.
Yeah, there he is. He a drinker? And he kept a pile of outdoor sports magazines in his locker. If he had ever talked at length with Billy about deer or quail hunting, they may have become friends. There was no evidence that the two had ever had a conversation or shared a beer. But even the Yankees, who did not know Whitson, never grew close to him. Few of the players in '85 were outdoorsmen or had been raised in the country. Whitson's was the only locker with a tape player regularly belting out country music. He was the rare voice with a southern drawl. The African-American players were largely from urban areas. Most of the other players, Pietragallo, Mattingly, Hasse, Pasqua, Righetti, Weininger, Dale Berra, were from northern or west coast cities. Mattingly's from Evansville, Indiana. What are you talking about? He's literally from Evansville, Indiana. Yeah. He's not from the northeast. He's not from the west coast. He is from the country. That is the country.
That's a hillbilly.
That's a hillbilly. Yeah, a lot of the guys are Italian, so they're northeast. Yeah. Righetti, fucking these guys, Pietragallo. Yeah, they're not going to be probably raised on that. Dale Berra. The only true rural compatriot of Whitson's was Louisianan Guidry, but Guidry was not gregarious. Guidry kept to himself and was usually either in the gym, staying fit on working on his hobby, which was playing the drums. He had a drum kit under the stands at Yankee Stadium where he'd go fuck around.
Is that right?
He's a starting pitcher, so if he's not pitching,
wow,
do what you want. That is wild. On the road, Guidry tended to dine in his room, the king of room service. So he doesn't even go out with the guys there. The rest of the 1985 pitching staff was a rough and tumble group, almost a cult within the team. They were like fraternity brothers, and their favorite form of amusement was insulting each other with biting humor.
Nice.
They're roasting. That's fun.
Yeah.
Whitson, his teammates said, was thin-skinned and shied from the banter. He ended up isolated from the only group that would have him. Mm-hmm. He's not into it. He's not into ball breaking. That's not where he's from or how he was raised. The Yankees fans, meanwhile, berated Whitson ceaselessly. I remember hating him as a little child, small child, little tiny kid. Eddie couldn't even go on the field during batting practice before a game at Yankee Stadium, said his 1985 teammate and fellow pitcher Dennis Rasmussen. If he did, people threw stuff at him. Jesus Christ.
God.
He developed a hatred of New York and eventually Billy, because he came as a free agent and then sucked. It was like, what are you doing? You were good there, now you suck. The funny thing is that he and Billy were of the same mold, I think. They both liked to tip a few at the bar, and when they were drinking, you knew you better not say the wrong thing to them because he'd want to fight everybody. It just wasn't hard to get him riled up. That wasn't the best personality to have on that 1985 team when everything that happened just seemed absolutely and totally crazy. Now, Bordy, pitching for Whisman, did not end the losing streak. During the game, a key run scored when Billy mistakenly scratched his nose, which was the signal for a pitch out.
Oh no. I just got
an itchy nose. Yeah, you got to come up with signals that you can't accidentally set off.
Yeah.
Wow. Billy didn't mean to call a pitch out. His nose was just itchy. The details of the gaffe did not get out to the press at the time, but the players knew of it and seemed to fit a trend. The despair continued to build. After the game, Billy was nearly speechless, mumbling barely audible answers. "We just need a spark," he said. Losers of 8 straight, the Yankees retired to their hotel, the Cross Keys Inn. Most went to bed. It was after midnight, and there was a day game the next afternoon. At the Cross Keys, they didn't have many choices at that hour anyway. Cliques form on teams, so better to let different groups unwind in their own orbit. And while Billy liked to drink with his players, an urban environment also made it easier for the players to not drink with Billy, as some of his players preferred. But Cross Keys Inn was 7 miles from downtown Baltimore. It was surrounded by parking lots and shrubbery and office buildings shuttered at night. Killer Kane, the Yankees' traveling secretary, had vacationed at the property during the winter of 1984-85 when he was touring Baltimore with his family. It's a weird vacation.
Yeah.
Kane thought it would be a nice change of pace to bring the team to a leafy environment. He's like, oh, this will be nice for him. Yeah. But on the Friday night after the game, Billy and several players, Righetti, Henderson, and Pags among them, Pietragallo, congregated at the small, 3 guineas and Ricky Henderson. That's awesome. Congregated at the small bar just off the lobby at the Cross Keys. The players swilled beer and cocktails at a table along with some writers. Billy, as was often the case, was at the bar, which was parallel to a wall with a mirror facing back to the lounge and tables. A 2-man band was playing in the corner. As was also usually the case, Billy struck up a conversation with strangers at the bar. Near him were 2 young couples. Billy quickly learned that one of the couples had gotten married that day, so he bought the newlyweds a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
Later, he danced one song with the bride. The newlyweds eventually thanked Billy, got autographs, and retired to their room. No one obviously expected to see them again that night.
Uh-oh.
But within minutes, the groom, still in his tuxedo and weaving somewhat unsteadily, reappeared at Billy's side at the bar.
Yeah.
"Hey, Billy, we've got to talk," he said loudly.
Yeah.
"You told my wife she has a pot belly." What?
Hey, you fat bitch.
Hey, what's up?
On her wedding day?
Oh, hold on there, Tubby. Wait a second. You want to suck that in so I can get closer to you for this dance? Hey, we're going to have to do...
say that?
We can't dance like slow dance because your gut is going to keep us from being that close to it. My hands can't reach you.
You got me dancing like an ass-out hug right now. What is this?
What's up, Tubbs? Let's do this. Okay. Everyone in the bar heard him. Well, it was hard to believe that Billy had ever heard such an accusation before, especially from a bridegroom. Billy nevertheless seemed unmoved. He said, "I did not say she had a pot belly," Billy said flatly and without emotion. He pointed at the woman from the other end of the bar and added, "I said this woman had a fat ass." Not your wife. See this broad here? Fat ass.
I said nothing about a belly. I was talking about how great that ass was.
Yeah. Now there were 2 men upset at Billy.
Oh, it's somebody else's girl.
Some minor
I
shoving.
say your ass. I didn't say your wife's fat. I said this guy's wife is fuckable.
I said your wife's perfectly fuckable. I said this guy's wife, I wouldn't put my dick in with using Ed Whitson's cock and Pietragallo pushing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said.
I couldn't get it past that giant ass of hers.
Yeah, your wife's fine. Hey, pal, your wife's hideous, not this guy's. His is fine. So they're pushing and shoving.
I say your wife's the ugliest, that she's appetizing. This one, not your wife.
Yeah, this one must have an appetite with an ass this fat. Henderson and a couple of coaches intervened to separate the potential combatants. Ricky would be, he's really jacked, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
Like, he is fucking all muscle. There's nothing on him that isn't muscle, which is crazy that he can go drink beer and still be like that. But anyway, so they intervene. There was some yelling, but the bridegroom and the other couple departed and nothing else became of the tussle. The whole thing lasted about 25 seconds. Seems like this is just a common Billy thing. The scuffle with the bridegroom, which was hard to imagine, and the equally unfathomable potbelly and fat ass quotes would be all but be forgotten. In the history of the team, they are lost in the recounting of more momentous events. The Yankees finally snapped their losing streak Saturday afternoon. I don't know why. You saying potbelly, fat ass? That's going to live on in crime and sports lore. Cowley and Fisher combined for a 5-hitter and a 5-2 victory. The Yankees trailed the Blue Jays by 6.5 games. Whisman had still not pitched, and he was not happy about it. Several reporters who approached his locker before the game heard all about how he already instructed his agent to get him out of New York as soon as the season ended. At about 6 p.m., Whisman perched at the bar, his hand wrapped around a bottle of Budweiser. A reporter asked if he had heard about the little fracas with the bridegroom. "Oh, yeah," Whisman said with a smile. "I'm having a beer now, then getting out of here before the real festivities start."
Yeah.
Like most of the Yankees' traveling party that night, Whisman was leaving the hotel by cab to eat dinner downtown. The Cross Keys cleared out. This was in the early evening.
Good Lord.
This wasn't at
5 p.m.?
midnight. Yeah, that's when that was. The Cross Keys cleared out. But by 11 p.m., various parties returned to the hotel, and by 11:45, the bar was packed again. Mm-hmm. Billy had also gone to dinner downtown, stopping at the same crab restaurant he always visited. But as midnight approached, he was at the Cross Keys Inn Bar, too, talking with announcer Frank Messer, as well as Dale Berra and his wife, Lee. Billy's tranquility coach, Willie Horton, was asleep. Horton did not go to the bars because he did not drink. Another coach, Doug Holmquist, who had become Billy's unofficial barroom bodyguard in 1985, was in Toronto scouting the Blue Jays in advance of what the Yankees hoped would be the final weekend 3-game showdown in Toronto. The lounge of the bar, an area Billy could see easily by looking in the mirror above him, was busy. In it, seated at a booth, was Eddie Lee Whisman, who, like Billy, had been drinking most of the night. Okay. Sitting next to Whisman, only a few feet away, was Albert Millis, an attorney from Binghamton, New York, who had came down to watch the Yankees games in Baltimore. Now, Millis did not know any of the Yankees, although he would later befriend Billy briefly when Billy moved to the Binghamton area in '88. Millis was the town attorney, was by then the town attorney for Fenton, which is a town near there. Yeah. Whisman was agitated. This is a quote from Millis. Whisman was agitated and talking loudly about Billy Martin. He was upset with him. A woman, I think Dale Berra's wife, came over to Whisman to try to calm him down, I think. But Whisman kept saying things like, "That man won't pitch me," or "That SOB won't play me." In a sworn affidavit he provided to... If there's affidavits, you know some shit's about to happen.
Boy, yeah.
In a sworn affidavit he provided to Eddie Sapir several days later, Millis described what happened next. Okay. At this point, I deduced that Mr. Whisman was a ball player. I turned to look at him. When Mr. Whisman saw me looking at him, he focused his attention on me and loudly demanded to know why I was eavesdropping on his conversation. I do not remember the words he used, but I believe it was something like, "Who do you think you are to stick your nose into my business?" I told him in words or substance that I did not know who he was and had no interest in his business. "I don't know you. You haven't pitched in weeks. I don't know you."
I don't know you. Fuck your business.
Fuck your business. Several Yankees had been privately worried that Whisman was going to snap soon and fight someone before the season ended, and they feared it would not be a small-time scrap. In addition to being tall and barrel-chested, 6'3", 200 pounds, Whisman had also taken martial arts training. As Whisman and Millis were having their contentious exchange, someone, perhaps Lee Berra, told Billy that Whisman was arguing with a stranger in the lounge a few feet away. Billy later said he looked at the mirror and saw Whisman face-to-face with Millis. Billy jumped up and moved in Whisman's direction. At some point, Millis scolded Whisman. Quote, I told him in words or substance that he was misbehaving, Millis said in the affidavit. Whitson responded by grabbing Millis by the throat.
Uh-oh.
Millis said, I looked up and saw Billy Martin between us. By the way, he said in his statement he didn't think Billy or Whitson was drunk. So he must have been super shit-faced because
hammered.
Everyone's drunk. But with most of the barroom patrons now watching, Billy said to Whitson, Eddie, you're drunk. You don't need this. Those were not the words Whitson wanted to hear, and Billy was probably the last person on earth he wanted to hear it from. Whitson's eyes were wild and face contorted, and he started yelling at Billy to get away. Fuck out of here. Billy said, What's the matter with you? You're crazy. I'm trying to help you. What's wrong with you?
Right.
The two were now squaring off. Dale Bearer and a few coaches were sprinting over toward the conversation. Whitson could be heard calling Billy a motherfucker, according to several witnesses.
Uh-oh.
He then swung at Billy.
Oh?
So now you're swinging on your manager who's 30 years older than you, which is not good.
And your manager.
It's your manager, your boss.
That's the emphasis, yeah.
Billy had come over as a peacemaker, but in an instant that was no longer than his intent. Billy and Whitson were furiously wrestling in a dark bar at 12:20 a.m. Punches were thrown, and according to Billy, Whitson kicked him several times, with Billy blocking some of the blows with his forearm. The two men tumbled onto the floor after about 20 seconds, and then they were separated by various Yankee personnel.
20 seconds is a long
That's
time
a long
to be tumbling
fight.
around. Yeah.
That's a long fight.
Yeah.
Whitson was now yelling at Billy for starting the fight. If the details of the first punch remain murky, the rest of this 4-round brawl is not in dispute. All but a couple of the beat writers watched it blow by blow and took notes. When Billy and Whitson were initially separated, Billy appeared to compose himself quickly. He kept saying, "What's wrong with that guy? Can't he hold his liquor?" This is Billy Martin talking.
Yeah.
Whitson, however, was not composed. He was enraged and kept screaming insults at Billy. A yelling Whitson was pushed and half dragged out of the bar. Billy followed after him. In the lobby, Whitson was being held from behind with his arms pinned to his side, and he was still able to lunge at Billy. Billy met the aggression with a charge of his own, but Whitson was quicker. Though his arms were being held, Whitson powerfully swung his leg and kicked Billy square in the groin. The kick seemed to lift Billy off the ground, and everyone watching seemed to either gasp or wince. The crowd parted for a second, waiting most likely for Billy to drop to the floor. Billy was doubled over in pain. But then he stood straight up and took a deep breath, like something a character in an action movie would do.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was as if he suddenly found new strength. And then, in a firm, defiant voice, said to Whitson, quote, "Now I'm going to have to kill you.
Now you're going to get it.
Now you're dead."
Now I'm good and mad.
Holy shit. Billy stormed at Whitson, but cooler heads interceded and summarily pushed Whitson out of the lobby toward the entranceway to the hotel, which included a circular driveway. 2 or 3 Yankees players and coaches, including Gene Michael, tried to corral and appease Whitson outside, with another 1 or 2 Yankees employees desperately scurrying around the hotel lobby in an effort to keep Billy from going outside.
Insane.
No one had his hands on Billy. It was more of a game of tag or dodgeball, with multiple people darting around to block Billy's path. Hey, Billy, what about over here? Let's take a look at that. Billy was making evasive counter moves like a football running back hoping to evade a linebacker. He's juking. Near the sliding glass door entrance, at one point, catcher Ron Hasse, played cat and mouse with Billy. I remember Ron Hasse. With his back to the door, Hasse tried to stay in Billy's way, periodically stepping on the sensor that opened the door. As the doors opened and shut, Billy would back away and try to get around Hasse in some other way. Finally, Billy faked left and went right, which got Hasse to step on the door sensor, but also left him out of position. Oh, he's not blocking on the right side of the line now, so this is ridiculous. Once outside, Billy threw himself at the group enveloping Whitson. It became a 4-man scrum, almost like a group hug, except Billy and Whitson were snarling at each other and trying to throw punches. This is amazing. This is awesome. Eventually, some legs in the group got tangled, and the whole mass of men fell over with Billy on the bottom of the pile, the smallest guy. Billy hit the ground with a thud, the back of his head loudly smacking the pavement. Ooh. Ouch. The confrontation brought more bodies out of the hotel entranceway, and this time Whitson was pushed in the direction of the hotel parking garage, a multi-level structure maybe 200 feet from the hotel, though attached to it. Whitson yelled at Billy, "You tried to bury me here. You're trying to ruin me." Billy looked dazed, was guided back into the hotel lobby. Lou Piniella and Killer Kane had arrived. They had gone to dinner in Baltimore's Little Italy and come back to the motel just behind police cars making their way to the Cross Keys. And if you're following police cars and you're going, oh, shit, what did Billy do now?
About? Yeah.
Oh, boy. Piniella said, my first thought was that I hoped Billy wasn't involved in a fight. Exactly.
Is this Billy?
Is this some Billy shit?
Imagine you see cop cars in my vicinity and you go, what's Jimmie done now?
What's he done now? Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Who did James yell at now and clothesline? Yeah, you don't want to see that. So Piniella, who came into the lobby to see Billy being attended to by trainer Gene Monahan, Billy's arm had swelled precipitously. Piniella, Kane, and Monahan talked Billy into going to his room, and the four men got in an elevator to head to Billy's third-floor room. Reporters dashed up the stairs after them. Unbeknownst to those escorting Billy, the group shepherding Whisman had circled around the parking garage to the parking garage's basement elevator. They were taking Whisman to his third-floor room. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh.
When Billy's elevator doors opened on the third floor, so did Whisman's just a few feet away. Oh,
round 2.
Round 3.
Yeah, right.
No, round 4.
4.
1 in the bar, 2 in the lobby, 3 outside. 4 in the hallway.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God, that's amazing. Billy and Whisman were suddenly face-to-face and charged at each other for a 4th time.
Wow.
It had been about 25 minutes since the first punch or kick. The last confrontation, wow.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
They were going to fight again. We're going to do it for real.
They started attacking each other. The last confrontation was the most benign, mostly shouting and incriminations. You're gutless, Whisman yelled as multiple people separated him from Billy. You're the gutless one. They told me you were in trouble. I was just trying to help, Eddie. Billy was ultimately led down the hallway to the right while Whisman went to his room down a different hallway. Kane went with Whisman, who dabbed up a cut lip and a few abrasions on his arm. Kane arranged for Whisman to be driven to New York early the next morning. Then Kane called Steinbrenner to give him the news.
Oh, boy.
Kane described the opening tussle, then the part where Billy was kicked in the crotch. George was saying, wait, they fought again? And what happened then? And Kane explained years later with a laugh. And then I said, wait, George, there's more. And he goes, more? What do you mean more? What are you talking about?
Why is there more?
How is there more? Said the whole story left Steinbrenner and our entire Crime and Sports listening audience's head spinning. Piniella and Monahan went with Billy to his room. Monahan said, I was checking out the arm and you could feel the bones moving and cracking. I told Billy I was pretty sure it was broken.
Oh, boy.
Monahan also thought it was likely that Billy cracked a couple ribs. There was a few lacerations in his back and face, too. Billy told Monahan, just wrap my arm up, I'm fine.
Oh, my God.
Piniella recalled that he was worried for Billy. He said he looked terrible. He was really beat up. But, you know, Billy is one tough guy. He said to me, do me a favor and go and knock on Whisman's room. Tell him I'll meet him in the parking lot in 5 minutes, Billy told Lou Piniella.
Let's finish this.
Yeah. I looked at him and said, that scotch is lying to you, Billy. Why don't you do me a favor and stay here?
You don't have
down,
it in
Billy.
you, Bill.
Billy, your arm is
skeleton.
broken.
Yeah, your
You're
skeleton's
gonna limp over
failing
there.
you.
Jesus Christ. Piniella and Monahan went to see Whisman, who was mostly unharmed physically. They were happy to hear that Kane had arranged for Whisman to go home. As Piniella and Monahan were meeting with Whisman here, oh my God, Billy emerged from his room with a drink in his left hand. He's still drinking.
Oh my God. Well, you got to kill the pain.
You got to, man. Yeah, it's anesthetic at this point.
Yeah.
Not anesthesia, anesthetic. Yeah, same thing.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, anesthetic actions of anesthesia.
Yeah,
there you go.
right. Yeah.
Across the hall, writers had gathered. His speech was uneven, his gait unsteady.
Oh, boy.
Billy said to them, go to the parking lot in 5 minutes. You'll see that guy get his ass kicked.
You didn't see it.
He told the reporters that. Billy then retreated to his room and closed the door. Monahan said, after about an hour of friendly arguing, Billy asked to go to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. They put his arm in a hard cast, broken ulna, so broke his forearm.
Yeah.
Billy returned to his room about 4 a.m. The next morning, most of the players who had turned in before the scuffle awoke to news of the fight. Don Mattingly said, I remember going to get breakfast and Dennis Rasmussen said to me, did you hear about Billy?
Right.
And I thought, oh no. Then Dennis said he had a big fight in the bar with Eddie Lee. And as much as you can get used to anything around the Yankees, I was pretty surprised this time. And
Certainly.
I immediately knew the clubhouse was going to be a zoo when I got there. You think? The clubhouse was swarming with reporters and television camera crews. Billy arrived early for him, about 2 hours before the game, with his arm in a sling. He walked through the locker room toward his office. A Baltimore television reporter came alongside, stuck a microphone in his face, and asked, "What happened to your arm, Mr. Martin?" Billy did not stop walking and just said, "I hurt it bowling." Okay.
There were balls involved.
Oh, there's some kind of balls somewhere. In his office, he answered questions from the assembled media for about 5 minutes, but he refused to discuss the fight. He said, "Whatever happened, it's over. We've got a division to win. All I'm focused on is winning today and every day after that." Then Billy had the team's press chief escort everyone out of the room except the 8 traveling writers from the New York area newspapers. Billy's countenance changed. He smiled and was at ease. These are the guys he knows. Mm-hmm. He then talked about the fight, like he was recounting a minor fray at Kenny Park back in West Berkeley. He did not seem angry. He was almost bemused. He said, quote, "It figures that when I go over and try to stop a fight, I get in an even bigger one. Right. I was trying to break it up. That's always how you get hurt." It's true. The peacekeeper always the guy who catches strays. That's the problem. Yeah. Knowing that several of the writers had witnessed the fight, he replayed sections of the fight as it had been something out of a game, and he asked, "Did you see when he kicked me?" Billy did not mention Whisman by name, nor did he criticize him. He only seemed upset that Whisman had used his legs in the brawl. He said, "I can't fight feet."
Yeah, why are you kicking?
We're staying above the waist here, Chief.
You're kicking You're pulling the chicken shit move. What, you're going to spit in my face, too?
Well, also, you got this guy who's a lot smaller and older than you, and you're going to kick him in the balls on top of it?
Kick the old man in the nuts? Jesus.
Yeah. So he said it became like a scene from another day in Billy's office. He was funny, irreverent, politically incorrect. That's Billy. Asked if Whitson could still pitch for him, Billy answered, "I've always said I would play Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini if they could help me win. I don't have to like them. If he can help us with the pennant, I'd pitch him. And I'll yank him from the mound too if he needs to be yanked. But I'll watch his feet. I won't get kicked." Everyone in the room laughed, Billy included. Then Billy dressed for the game, pulling on a long-sleeve undershirt over his cast. He remained in the dugout, sending out a coach to talk to starter Ron Guidry on occasion. When Ricky Henderson hit a third-inning home run, he met Henderson on the top step of the dugout, extended his left hand in congratulations. Yankees prevailed for Guidry's 20th win of the season, and Billy was all smiles afterwards. He deflected some of the questions about the fight, as did most of the Yankees. He said, "It's over. These things happen on teams. I've had it happen before. You move on." One reporter said, "But you've never had a fight where you ended up with a broken arm." And Billy glared. It appeared as if he wanted to say something biting or spiteful, but he did not. He said, "Hey, we've won 2 in a row. Don't worry about it." So, this is what's in the paper.
One more was a winning streak.
One more, yeah. None of those. That's called a winning streak. That's called a winning streak. That's called a winning streak.
So good.
He ends. He also says to the newspaper here. He says, "I think it happened when he kicked me." He said he kicked me once in the groin and once in the arm. His agent said, though, that he wouldn't comment on it. Steinbrenner said, "I don't know what to think because I don't have any real facts. Needless to say, it's not a pleasant thing. It's not something I'm happy about. The thing that concerns me is what players were doing out after curfew."
Oh.
Witnesses said Martin and Whitson fight began about 12:30 a.m. So they're saying, why were they out after curfew? Because who cares? They're grown men. That's why. That's ridiculous.
Because they have the time.
They have the time. So September 24th, 1985, he said, "Brawling Billy Martin will never learn," is an article in the paper here. It said, "Billy looked like a shriveled up, tired old man last week in Detroit. There was no glow. Billy didn't look well. When he was younger, Billy Martin might have been the middleweight champion of the world, but of course we'll never know about that. He was good with his fists, a street fighter with skill. He's 5'11", 165 pounds, but few players would challenge him. He's now 57 and bony. The skin wrinkled. He may not be able to punch out his players or even a reasonably solid marshmallow salesman." It's only 2 years ago.
Reasonably solid.
Yeah. Reasonably, not crazy big.
Yeah.
Those at ringside got more action from the Martin Whitson than who paid dearly to watch Holmes and Spinks pity pat around the square, meaning Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. Martin's right arm was broken. The manager insisted he was kicked by Whisman, who may have been practicing karate. One reporter suggested Martin gave away 25 pounds, 5 inches in height, and 27 years in age. They said, do you suppose Martin will still try to slug it out at 60, 65? Yeah. He will. He'll be sitting in a saloon somewhere in the 90s, and an insurance man from Peoria will ask him why he didn't pitch Whisman more in 1985. And yeah, who do you think you are eating my potato chips? A knuckle buster right off. Martin is a pathetic case in some ways. As a manager, he's gifted. At least some of his players have said this. Or you could look at his record. This pisses me off. At least that's what some of his players say. Like, you don't have access to records. Yeah. Look at his teams the year before he got there and then when he's there. They win. Don't say, at least that's what some people say. Like, hey, I can't. I hate fucking people. Okay. Yet I just do. I hate people. Yet he burned out an entire pitching staff in Oakland, insisting on complete games in the era of the relief pitcher. We went over that. The pitchers wanted to do that. He somehow had inspired several teams to play better than they were capable of playing in his first year or more as manager. Yeah, and he goes on and just kind of do a recap. Billy has gone after Clint Scrap Iron Courtney, a former American League catcher, and Jimmie Pearsall, a Boston outfielder, among others. He doesn't always choose a heavyweight, and he's duked it out in Baltimore before. A fan, Jack Sears, said something Billy didn't like after a Tiger lost there and regretted it when Martin popped him. He's just kind of recapping his deal here. September 25th, 1985, it comes out that he has cracked ribs, too.
Oh, no.
After the fight. He said, I felt fine yesterday, but my side started hurting last night. Probably didn't realize it because of his arm. So he's got a couple cracked ribs.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Billy's drinking. This is from the book here. The same day, Steinbrenner announced he was launching an investigation into the Cross Keys fight.
Yeah.
Eddie Sapir knew that he had to start getting testimony from witnesses who could prove that Billy did not start the fight. There were plenty of people willing to do that, including the young attorney from upstate New York, Dale Berra, and Gene Michael. Sapir forwarded all that information to George, who eventually became convinced that Billy might not have meant to fight Whisman. Maybe this isn't Billy's fault, for once.
Does it matter, though?
Well, it does matter, because if Billy was going over to try to calm one of his players down and get him out of a situation, that shows that Billy's maturing. If Billy went over to drunkenly fight one of his own players, that's way different than trying to keep one of his players out of a fight, which is what a manager should be doing.
Sure. But on the other hand, when is the last time you heard of a manager or coach or fighting a player at all, whether they're trying to stop a fight or not?
I agree, you know but it doesn't matter.
You don't grab two pit bulls that are fighting. You can get bit, babe.
True, that's true. Yeah. But you also
grab a hose.
If you're the owner, you have to blame somebody. So who do you have to find out where the blame goes because you're trying to find out who's wrong, who I'm getting rid of. You know what I mean? It's not like they're two of your brothers and you have to keep them both anyway. That wouldn't make a difference at that point. But this is, who do I fire, basically?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Billy was not at fault here. Now, after the first round, he should have stopped. But he didn't. He went after him.
Going 5 rounds.
At the same time, tell somebody, if someone takes a swing at you, tell them now not to go fucking try to fight them. I mean, that's just, you can't ask a person to do that. You can't.
Right.
If you swing at me, I'm fighting you. We're fighting. Before this night is through, I'm going to find you and we're going to fight. Period. That's it.
We'll
going to keep coming too. You're in the lobby. I'm in the lobby too. Why are you fucking swinging at me?
Why are you running away?
Yeah, I get it. I get where Billy's coming from. So, I mean, I totally understand here. But still, you got to be the manager and be the bigger man here. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
So he said, within a day, George announced that neither Billy nor Whisman would be suspended or punished in any way. Sounds like Whisman should have been suspended and punished and fined. What upset Steinbrenner most was that so many players had obviously been in the hotel bar well after midnight, the supposed curfew. Who cares if grown men are a half hour late?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And that's stupid, too. And most of the time, the rule in baseball, for the most part, is no drinking in the hotel bar back in the day.
Right.
You can drink anywhere else but in the hotel bar.
Just don't come back here and sit down where we're all staying.
Billy had the rule of he would rather have his players,
only
as
at
we
the
talked
hotel
about.
bar.
He would rather have them than getting them picked up in a DUI at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
He'd rather have them here and stumble to his room.
Right. At least I can go down and tell him, go up to your fucking room.
And I can keep an eye on him, too.
Yeah.
So he said that, and it was a classic reaction by George. He knew Billy might get in fights. That was a given. But if Billy wasn't enforcing the discipline George wanted, well, that could be a firing offense.
Oh.
In past years, what did not come up was whether Billy needed to do anything about his drinking. The players certainly did not think it was their place. Dave Winfield said back then it was not a thought that crossed anyone's mind. Having a manager who drank too much was not exactly unheard of, if you know what I mean. Roy White was working in the front office that season. He'd been with the Yankees since Billy's first managerial gig in '75. He said, I never heard anyone talk to Billy about his drinking or late night habits. I didn't have that kind of authority. I guess others did. He lost jobs, but I don't know that anyone felt they needed to address the why of that.
Oh.
In an ESPN documentary made after Billy's death, Steinbrenner was asked if he had ever regretted not trying to counsel Billy about his drinking. He said, I did feel that I failed to a certain extent to turn him around, but I couldn't be with him every minute. I couldn't convince him. Just couldn't convince him. No one's convincing Billy Martin not to drink.
No.
Not happening. It's just...
When he doesn't drink, he drinks beer.
He said, I've had his Miller Lite.
I quit drinking. Now
I quit drinking. I only drink beer. To get back into this season, anyway, out of the fight thing. Yeah. Season summary, Don Mattingly said that under Billy here, and it's true, under Billy, they were 91-54 under Billy that year.
Oh.
Which is
not
great.
Bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, which is a .628 winning percentage, higher than any other team in baseball that season for a higher percentage he had. So he did great. Nearly 30 years later, Mattingly still thinks the 1985 Yankees are underappreciated. That's when I really got into baseball as a little kid and got really into it with Mattingly and Dave Winfield and Ricky Henderson. I mean, those are three awesome guys to get, latched onto. He said, our team scared other teams. I remember we beat Kansas City something like 11 of 12 games that year. We just abused them, and they won the World Series. Mattingly said, look, it was an insane season, but we won 97 games. I mean, 97 games is an impressive number no matter what else happened. We feel like we needed another starting pitcher or two, but we were on our way up. There was a lot of optimism. Oh, man.
Yeah, boy.
For me, too. And then the Yankees would suck for the next decade. Yeah. After the final game, Billy left the Toronto ballpark, heading for Southern California, where he was to meet Jill. He stopped for a beer at the airport bar. 4 stools down was Ed Whitson. Here he is again.
Hey.
Waiting for a flight to Tennessee. There was a conciliatory conversation. They bought each other drinks. So
that's nice.
It was and then at the end of the season, Ed's getting out of here too. So he's like, "Fuck it, bury the hatchet. Why not?" Sure. Otherwise, this guy
over the thing that caused this in the first place. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's have a drink, celebrate, or burying the hatchet on something that the booze caused this in the first place.
So let's drink more booze.
Let's start. Yeah.
So my second baseman of the future doesn't get spiked for no reason for some shit that had nothing to do with him.
Right.
Billy. Okay. He I guess he felt confident too. Billy felt the team was going somewhere up.
Yeah.
Before the final game of the season, it's customary for the manager to speak at length with reporters to give a summation of the season. Billy delivered a traditional end-of-year soliloquy and more. He shocked his pregame audience by demanding a raise. He said, Earl Weaver's making $500,000. Billy was making about $265,000.
Ooh, yeah.
Sparky Anderson just got 3 more years, and the guy in Cleveland, Pat Corrales, finished last and got a new contract. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not putting any pressure on anybody, but it's up to George.
Yeah. With all due respect, here's some disrespectful shit.
Yeah. Managing the Yankees, I'm going to talk some shit, but hey,
Yeah. With all due respect.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
Managing the Yankees is special, but I have to take into consideration my responsibility to my family. I have to make more money. I have to put that first for the first time in my life and put the Yankees second. Mm-hmm. Putting the Yankees second was not a customary thought, this is from the book, nor a rational one when pleading for a raise. But Weaver's salary filled Billy with envy and stoked his jealous nature, a feature of Billy's personality that rarely needed stoking anyway. Right. Piniella said, something about Earl drove Billy nuts. All you had to do was mention Earl, and you could see the veins on Billy's neck start to bulge. He said in 1985, the Orioles barely had a .500 record under Weaver and finished 14 games behind the Yankees, an outcome that Billy happened to mention a couple of times, you think? As it turns out, Billy was also once again struggling with money woes. That's where this is coming from.
Yeah.
During the season, the IRS had put a lien on his salary for payment of back taxes. So
oh, my God. His check's being garnished to cover. He's being taxed and then garnished. Oh,
yep. God. So he cleared it up, and now he's back in trouble again.
Yeah.
He also knew, even if he had not yet acknowledged it, that he was facing another possibly costly divorce. Yeah, you think, Billy? Billy's salary demands were horribly ill-timed, which was fitting in a sardonic sort of way. If nothing else, late-in-life Billy always seemed to lack good timing. In October 1985, Billy's status with Steinbrenner was already considered tenuous, which I don't know why. Why would it be considered? He came in to a 6-10 team and had the best record in the fucking league the rest of the year, and you're bitching about it. What more do you want from this fucking man? Yeah.
Well, he didn't win the World Series.
Good God. Yeah. It was well known that George wanted Piniella to manage the club in the near future, which he would, by the way. He did for a while. Like Billy, the Yankees owner did not think much about second-place finishes. It had now been 4 years since the Yankees had won the division, the longest drought since Steinbrenner had bought the team 11 years earlier, and there had been plenty of turmoil in Billy's wake in 1985. As Billy was making a public, undiplomatic petition for a raise, he was still at least a month from getting the cast off an arm broken in a barroom brawl. And he had to still be careful when standing up from a sitting position because his cracked ribs were still healing. Incredibly, Billy had led the Yankees to a 97-win season, but given everything that happened, he was not bargaining from a position of power. Not surprisingly, Steinbrenner had little reaction to Billy's demands. But after all these years, some saw consistency in Billy's actions. As his son Billy Joe said of his father, sometimes it was as if he almost manufactured excuses to get out of a situation. I don't want to be here. Like basically, if George fires me, then I can go get a job somewhere else making big money.
Yeah.
But George has to fire me first because I have a long-ass contract with him, essentially. Then, October 27th, right after the season here, 1985, big headline report. Piniella will replace Billy Martin.
Oh.
Yes, they're saying Lou Piniella is going to be the new manager starting in 1986, which is fucking crazy. The book says Billy twisted in the wind in mid to late October as rumors swirled that Piniella was going to replace him. Killer Kane said that was a tough time for Billy. With the cast, he couldn't play golf, he couldn't hunt, he couldn't fish. He sat at home. He told me he took walks.
He's only
bored.
having one drink at a time.
God damn it. Yeah, I can't double fist it anymore. Kane said he told me he was sick of taking walks. It's driving him crazy, just him and Jill. And probably driving her crazy, too.
Yeah.
There was a feeling among the Yankees' brain trust that the better marketing and public relations choice for manager was Billy Martin. Lou Piniella, a younger, good-looking, and popular player from the Yankees' glory years of the 1970s. Piniella, like Billy, was a fiery, emotional player and a bad loser who promised to bring the same feet to the fire intensity to the dugout. He might counteract the youthful, increasingly trendy Mets. Because 86, the Mets are getting big, and 86 is when they win the World Series, which obviously Steinbrenner seed that sitting there. That is not okay. And Piniella, if you've seen him, because he managed forever,
right?
He was crazy too. He'd come out of the dugout, he'd throw things and kick dirt, and he was raised by Billy Martin.
His heart didn't do well either.
No, raised by Billy Martin, man. So he is fired. Billy Martin is fired, and that is that. So he is gone. So they said from the book here, it was time to turn a new leaf. It might help reshape the Yankees' image in the late stages of the 20th century. On October 27th, they announced that Piniella would be the Yankee manager in 1986. Billy would remain on the payroll as an assistant to the principal owner. His role was not defined. He's just under contract, basically. There was no real effort to explain why Billy was relieved of his duties. The details did not seem highly important at the time. In New York, Billy being dismissed as Yankees manager was starting to be accepted as formality. Just he manages the season, he gets fired. Doesn't matter what he does. He can win the World Series, he could be in last place. Either way, he's getting fired. The newspapers were now labeling Billy's managerial turn with the Yankees with Roman numerals. Billy 4 is what they were putting. Yeah. And so this was just another chapter. Billy 4 had ended. The page turned. Mattingly said, I think we were all surprised. I mean, 97 wins and you're fired? But at the same time, we weren't surprised. It was getting pretty hard to be surprised by anything around here.
Yeah.
George did something privately that went unreported. He gave Billy a big raise and tore up a loan of about $150,000 he'd given Billy 2 years earlier.
Just called it even.
Wow. The Chicago White Sox needed a manager. George made sure Billy was being paid almost twice what the White Sox were likely to offer, so he can't say, I want to take that job. With the IRS on his back, Billy could not afford to manage elsewhere. Makes sense. He may not have wanted to go somewhere else anyway. Many of his circle of friends and acquaintances believed he didn't want to start over in another town. He was 57 years old and more set in his ways. Ron Guidry said, by then, Billy didn't really want to manage except in New York. He said those other places were jobs, but managing the Yankees was a love to him. So yeah, he had to leave, but that was his fault. Billy's biggest enemy was his mouth, and everybody knew that. Morabito wondered if his friends sensed that he was teetering out of control. Morabito said he was kind of beat up physically and mentally. He hated getting fired, but he almost needed to hit the reset button. He stepped back. He was very resilient in that way. He wouldn't stay down for long. Okay, now Billy in the Daily News, big headline says, Billy, I won't return. Martin says he's through managing Yankees, which it's like, even if they come back, I won't take it again.
Yeah.
He said, right now, I don't know what my job is what he said. He said, I'm going to go sit down with George and figure it out. He said, I didn't expect the firing that soon. I thought I did a good job, but I knew what I was getting into when I came back. Steinbrenner told me Lou was being primed for the job all along. So he was thinking that he was going to, in a couple years, kind of groom Lou Piniella to be the manager. And that's what it would be. Not in a year he gets shit canned. Okay. Billy, November 26, 1986, bound for the TV booth.
I know.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to go work for WPIX, Channel 11 in New York,
Really?
which aired the Yankee games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said that he's worked out. WPIX president must give his approval on the plan, but it's pretty much a certainty you'll be listening to Martin on Channel 11 next season. The idea is for Billy to work with Phil Rizzuto and Bill White, offering his own brand of expertise, inside baseball knowledge, and comedy as an analyst. Him and Rizzuto in the same booth would be fucking amazing.
Outstanding.
That's great. That's just a lot of a mess there. So, yeah, he said, Billy has no desire to manage again, and I have no desire to have him back as manager, what Steinbrenner said. It's time for him to move on to a more serious stage of his life. When we originally sat down, we discussed his role. He would manage for a year or two, train Lou Piniella, then step down when Lou was ready. We think Lou's ready. Billy's very complimentary of Lou, and he's very comfortable with Lou as his successor. So, all right. Now, if you're Lou, though, now you have this manager in waiting up in the booth that can just come right down and take your job at any time.
Other point is
you have a bad week.
Lou stepping into what may seem to George as small shoes, because all you have to do is make the playoffs, perhaps win the World Series. But you've got a ready-made team that it wins nearly 100 games already.
Yeah, you're looking.
So you better fucking succeed.
That's what I mean.
That's a lot of pressure for Lou.
This is a crazy job for his first managing job.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You got to really know how to handle a lot of that and have some experience in managing.
Yeah, the idea of incoming manager or coach or any improve on that.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And this
is
like,
a dumb decision on Lou's part.
Yeah, absolutely. Lou, his ideal job would be if the Yankees were 62 and 100 the year before.
Yeah, right.
He can come in and start from the ground up and
whip up 77 wins and not have a drinking problem. You're a winner.
And like build a team that he likes and guys that he wants and his guys and do all that and have a few years. This is, hey, Lou, better win the World Series next year.
Yeah, because you got a team that just last year won north of 90 games.
Yep, 95 for Christ's sake. 2 days later, Billy, by the way, says that he's going to manage again.
Oh, I'll be back. I just won almost 100 fucking games. Yeah. I'll be right back.
He said, I've been doing it so long, I miss it when I'm not doing it. So
I'm just going to go have some fun and watch some baseball games. That would be incredible.
No shit. So,
get paid to watch them? Oh,
that'd be great. And he said, I'd like to be the owner of the Yankees and fire George. That's what he'd like to do, he said. Early 1986, Billy asked Jill to marry him at some date in the future. No set date. It had been a spontaneous decision by Billy, and later, when he informed his family and friends, many of them were aghast. For one thing, Billy and Heather were separated, but the divorce papers hadn't been filed yet. And second, a host of Billy's closest pals did not like being around Jill.
Oh.
Morabito said, "I wasn't shocked like some people. They were just so attracted to each other in a way you couldn't describe. They had a lot of passion for each other, and Billy clearly loved her, but they fought like crazy too. The fact is fact is they couldn't live with each other, but they couldn't live without each other. That's a bad relationship.
You bet.
Billy would say, she can be such a bitch, but then he would always go back to her. It happened every time.
Yeah.
Whatever the tenor of the relationship, Jill was now in a position to wield her influence. The daughter of a prosperous businessman, Jill began by surveying Billy's financial misfortune and decided that she could help clean up the mess. One way to start was to maximize Billy's name, fame, and appeal. Jill started a public relations effort to get Billy more outings, not just the usual rounds of golf or dinner speeches. She had Billy speaking at schools, doing work for the Salvation Army. You know, places that don't serve booze.
Right.
Yeah, the other golf and dinner speeches are all booze events. These are non-booze events. Yeah. And helping kids out at summer camps. She wanted Billy to elevate his scope of influence. She had him reading the poem Billy the Kid as part of a symphony orchestra performance. Jill also accompanied Billy so that he could take possession of the checks for appearances and pay the taxes. On his own, Billy might do anything. Yeah. So she came so she could take the check, so she knows the taxes are getting paid rather than him. Who the fuck knows?
It's like a comic with a gambling problem. You send it to their agent. It's the same shit.
That's it. You got to send it directly to their agent.
God, what a child he is.
He's 57 years old.
Right.
And he needs an escort to collect his check so he won't just blow it all on candy and fucking, wrestling figures or something.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
James doesn't mean prostitute, escort, by the way.
No,
right.
No, certainly not. They wouldn't care what you bought.
No. They'd be like, oh, maybe a little for me.
Yeah, get me some Snickers bars and a Hulk Hogan figure, too. I don't care, whatever. It's a totally different thing here.
Just a chaperone.
A chaperone, better way to put it. For 1986, Steinbrenner's new job for Billy was television broadcaster. Mm-hmm. Billy would appear in pregame show and occasionally during games, with his old double play partner, Phil Rizzuto, guiding him. Oh, yeah, they're the early 50s double play combination. Billy could be funny and charming on the air, but overall his work was pedestrian. Billy and Rizzuto had an amusing repartee about baseball in general and about the old Yankees, even if it was the 1970s Yankees, but worried about second-guessing Piniella. Billy was overly careful about commenting on the 86 Yankees. Before the camera, Billy was milquetoast, almost unrecognizable. He didn't want to be himself because that's not what they wanted. But to some people, the television appearances were an accomplishment because he did not go on television inebriated, as some had feared. The telecast producers had made it clear to Billy that he was not allowed to have any alcohol of any kind before games or during games, since he's going to be on TV after the game. John Moore, a young TV producer just beginning a decades-long career directing Yankee broadcasts, was assigned to shepherd Billy. Shepherd, that's a good word for it. Not escort, shepherd. Yeah. In 2014, Moore said he did not recall any time Billy appeared under the influence while working. During games, he tended to watch the Yankees on television at the press box level. He would not watch the game itself from the press box. He told the writers with a snicker, then I might start thinking like you guys if I watched it with you guys. Okay. He said Billy also did not work more than about a third of the games. That left him plenty of time for bringing in extra money on the side with public appearances, and Billy was actively working at recruiting such income, or more accurately, Jill was trying to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
There's an article here. I'll just read the headline. Color man Billy Martin hopes not to be too colorful.
That's such a bummer. And all these guys that post sports life, whether it be NFL, baseball, basketball, whatever, when you have to be on TV, they have to create and craft and maintain this fucking image. I feel so bad for Shaq because he wants to call people horrible
idiots
names. And he can't
all
do
time.
it. And
this jackass.
And Charles Barkley the same way.
He just says it. Well, he doesn't give a fuck.
He says it, but he would say way worse
shit.
He would
say
way
fucking
worse
between
things.
the words, but he would.
Yeah.
I don't think he's pulling punches on these guys.
Maybe not, but he would certainly say it in a more crass way. And these Manning brothers with their stupid fucking Manning cast shit, I really feel like these athletes would love to be themselves more, but post-NFL life, they have to be able to craft and make money. And they have to be marketable still, so you can't just be an every guy. That bums me out so much because I'd love to sit and watch a basketball game with Charles Barkley.
They have to be so middle of the road.
Yeah.
That's what's great about Barkley is because he's not middle of the road. No. He says what he means. But they have to be so milquetoast, so middle of the road, so grandma has to like me.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Tony
annoying.
Romo would be an amazing person to watch football with. I guarantee it. And he has to do this bullshit that he has to sell to America. Chris Collinsworth is the fucking worst, and he can't even speak the fucking language.
He's not pulling any punches. He's just being a pompous ass because that's who he is, I think.
And a fucking homer.
Himself.
He picks teams and fucking rails on the other team, but he's so bad at English.
What I mean with Billy, though, is I don't think that's the problem with Billy. I think Billy's whole thing is he doesn't want to have people saying, you come down and manage again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he doesn't want. So he wants to try to basically blend into the wallpaper. Yeah, he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to look like he's he said too. He doesn't want to look like he's second guessing Lou Piniella because then he looks like it's spoiled.
Yeah. Also, when he second guessed Lou Piniella and the team loses, now they're like, well, maybe Billy's idea would have been the better idea.
Exactly, and that's what he's trying to avoid. And he said, I'd like to just stay low key and do my job. Of course, everybody's going to ask me, Billy, would you have done that? Would you have done that? And I'll just answer, no comment, basically, because they're going to say, Billy, would you have made that move? Would you have taken that pitcher out in the sixth inning? And he'll say, no comment, which is a terrible thing for a sportscaster to say.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is, yes, and this is why, or no, and this is why. No comment doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. And I guess, I just mean like John Madden didn't do that shit. He'd just say what he felt and what he thought. And he wouldn't I don't know. These guys fucking got to appease both sides all the time.
Yeah, but look they have billions
obnoxious
TV deals worth billions of dollars. When John Madden was doing this shit in the 80s, it wasn't like that.
Didn't cost that. Yeah.
It didn't cost that. None of this shit.
I'd just rather see that. I'd love to watch it.
Everybody would. But
oh, man, I'd love to be the Broncos call guy and just fucking rail on bad things they did.
That'd be terrific. Yeah. They won't let us do that.
No, they don't want that.
Unfortunately. No, they want milquetoast.
Yeah.
Largest possible audience they can get. Don't rock the boat.
So dumb.
Yeah. He said, I'm not going to be controversial every night. My job is to tell you before games how the Yankees might pitch to each player and give the viewers an idea of what a manager goes through before a game. Things I couldn't tell people before. Things like George Brett is not swinging the bat good and little things the public might want to know. There will be no second-guessing Lou Piniella. If a player fails to make a bunt, I'll comment on it, but it's the players who fail, not the manager. I'm not, and I am going to be a homer. I'm going to root for the Yankees.
Is it illegal, too, for him, like today, if he wanted to do it? Granted, there's a lot of reasons that he can't do that. But it's illegal, right? You can't watch the game and stream it and comment on it. You can't do that, right?
What? No.
Based on copyright and shit?
No,
you
you can't do that. No. You can take later on, you can take pieces
Clips?
of it if you're doing a certain thing that would be considered fair use. You'd have to be talking about those clips, but it couldn't be more weighted on the clips than on you. There's a lot of rules.
Is it fair use to just aim a camera just at you as you watch it with it in the background? Or would the sound even be?
The sound is also, they
God
own that
damn
too.
it.
Yeah, they own that too. You could sit there with it on silent and just be like, or with earphones and be like, that too. But I mean, who the hell cares about that?
Who gives a fuck about that? Right.
Yeah, you'd have to have a lot lined up. You'd have to have the game on and other people on. And that's possible. We've talked about this.
Have we talked about this?
Yeah, like 8 years ago we talked about doing this.
Well,
and we were like, it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
We figured out it was impossible.
It's all a new idea again. I'm a goldfish, James. It's probably, it's not every 10 seconds, but it's probably every, 3-4 years my brain resets.
That's fucking funny. All right, here we go. Bobby Richardson, Billy's teammate in the 1950s, tells the story of Billy's appearance at Coastal Carolina University, where Richardson was the baseball coach and athletic director in '86. Richardson had asked Billy to come down to the university's major fundraising event, which was a one-day golf tournament followed by a luncheon and auction the next day. Billy agreed to come without charging a fee so long as Richardson paid for his expenses. Jill did not make the trip. Richardson said, Billy came and played golf with all of our big donors. He charmed all the big wigs. I got him a suite by the ocean, and I'm not sure he ever checked into it. He may have been out all night. But the next day, he was back and hobnobbed with everyone. He talked to people, spoke at the luncheon, and was so charismatic. Then we had the auction, and he outbid everyone for everything. He paid in cash, and when the event was over, he gave all the stuff back to the university and told us to auction it off again at our next fundraiser. That was Billy, always so giving.
Yeah.
Great with money, too. Just great with money. This guy owes the IRS money. And he's like, here we go. Who cares? So in May, Heather filed for divorce and shortly after sued Billy for $500,000.
Oh, boy.
Saying Billy was trying to evict her, her mother, brother, and 75-year-old grandmother from the Blackhawk house. In the court papers, Heather gives her birthday being as 1959, like we found out, and states she began living with Billy in 1980. Billy told the New York Daily News, "No one's throwing anyone out of the house. Once again, I'm being made out to look like the bad guy."
Yeah, I'm a villain.
All right, May 24th, 1986, the season finale of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Martin was the co-host that night.
Martin.
And Billy was the co-host that night and was, quote, jokingly fired by executive producer Lorne Michaels for being drunk in a skit, slurring his lines.
Yeah.
In retaliation, Martin set the dressing room on fire, a staged scene set as a cliffhanger for the following season.
Oh.
Set the dressing room on fire, and they used to do that at the end of SNL seasons, do some silly shit like that. Yeah, they would do that. And I think because that year, I believe they came back with an entirely new cast, except for John Lovitz, I think, returned.
Really?
Because that 86, I think, was the year where they had like Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall and all like the young like movie guys that were in that. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was gone by then, I think, but all those guys.
86?
Yeah. I think that was 86. They had.
She was already gone?
I think she was already gone by then. Because she was in like movies by then. But shit movies, but movies.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I think that's what it was. Because that's, Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall, that era, that year of cast, I think.
Do you want me to look?
It really doesn't matter to
matter.
Billy Martin. Not germane to Billy Martin, but
No.
interesting anyway for us to talk about when we're done.
Fascinating cast. Randy fucking Quaid was
Randy
on Saturday Night
Quaid.
Live?
Yes.
Wow.
This is after Vacation, too, and all that shit.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people from movies, and then they were like, never mind, flushed all those people out.
Skipped it all out. Wow.
Came back the next year, and I think that's when they had like that's when Dana Carvey came in and Phil Hartman and all those guys kind of came in, right?
Wow.
Dennis Miller, all those
Dennis
guys.
Miller
right
was in
there.
86.
He was on in 86.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a couple new people that they kept because that was
Wow, what a cast.
because
That's
is also
fucking incredible. Victoria Jackson came in before she went nuts. Jan Hooks was her first season. That's a great fucking
Nora
season,
Dunn went nuts,
87.
not Jan Hooks. Jan Hooks was underrated. Jan Hooks was underrated.
Oh, she's terrific.
She was underrated. She was very good on SNL.
Yeah.
So Yankees, August 11th, 1986 is Billy Martin Day.
Hey.
And they suck, by the way. Oh, yeah. They were 500 at home after this game. Yep. Martin said, "No, I'm never coming back here as Yankee manager. You guys all said I was fired last year, but I left voluntarily. I have no plans to manage anywhere. I'm content what I'm doing now. I have a wonderful contract. I wouldn't go anywhere just to manage for a year or two. The only way I'd ever leave would be for a long-term contract." So that's what he's doing here. That's the speech to the crowd. Martin admitted that he wasn't the greatest player in Yankee history, but claimed that he was the proudest. He said, "To wear that uniform was an awful proud thing. The pride of the Yankees was always with me no matter what uniform I've worn." He said, "I couldn't get the words out later on." He said, when he's talking about Casey Stengel, he said, "Stengel's the guy who started me out, and I sent flowers to his grave today. This is Casey's day, too." Now, they said it was the only time Billy's mother and his sisters came to Yankee Stadium. This time. That's it.
Really?
Isn't that weird? His whole
Why?
life. He's been, how many games has he managed, coached, played in at Yankee Stadium?
World Series.
Thousands? This doesn't make sense.
Playoff games. Never been?
Weird. They came for the weekend and enjoyed the festivities, but behind the scenes there was considerable arguing going on with Jill about who got to do when, who got to do what and when. The quarreling went on unabated for days. During the ceremony, Billy's mother, in a wheelchair after falling and breaking her hip, was brought out onto the field. So were his sisters and brothers. Billy, wearing a light beige suit with a boutonniere affixed to the lapel, beamed as various speeches were made in his honor. The crowd gave him long ovations multiple times, and most of the current Yankees stood at the top of the dugout during the ceremony. Billy also received a bevy of gifts, including a boat and a car. That sounds great. The highlight of the celebration was the retiring of Billy's number and a plaque in Yankee Stadium's Monument Park, alongside those for Billy's friends Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio. Billy's the number one up there. Right. It was Billy's lifelong dream to come true, to be immortalized at Yankee Stadium. Presented with a framed replica of his number one jersey, Billy made a short but emotional speech thanking many coaches, players, family, and mentors. He was eloquent in thanking the fans, saying they accepted him when he showed up as a brash kid in 1950. Wow. Talking with a couple of the writers afterwards, he said he marked the occasion by sending flowers to Casey Stengel's grave again. Billy's enshrinement alongside other Yankee greats was not greeted by all as heartwarming news. Several columnists scorned Steinbrenner for recognizing a manager known for kicking dirt on umpires and slugging people in saloons. Babe Ruth's fucking numbers up there. Who cares? Right. What are we talking about? Others defended Billy. Howard Cosell had a nationally syndicated column at the time. He wrote, "Why is it when Billy fights with an umpire, it's further proof of its instability and unsportsmanlike conduct, when the same behavior by Tommy Lasorda and Earl Weaver is somehow portrayed as amusing or even charming?" True. 100% true.
Sure, yeah.
The fact that no one plays Weaver ball or Lasorda ball, but they do play Billy ball, that phrase alone sums up a whole style, an era, if you will, of baseball that's contributed much to baseball, or as much to baseball history as tradition as home run records or a perfect game. That's why Billy's out there at Yankee Stadium with Ruth. Like all of us, Billy is not without flaws, but perfection, idolatry, and canonization are not the point, although there are those who would insist that they are. George Steinbrenner was not conferring sainthood, but recognizing the contributions of a talented man on the baseball field. He was right to do so.
Yeah.
True. So, anyway, $500,000 suit is against him in this from Heather. Mm-hmm. She says she met him when she was an 18-year-old high school dropout with no job skills. He persuaded her to move to California, and he'd pledged everything he owned also belonged to her, including the $600,000 home in suburban Danville that Martin bought in 1980 while living with her and managing the A's. She filed for, they said, the latest suit aimed at keeping herself, her 43-year-old mother, and 75-year-old grandmother and 9-year-old brother from being evicted, she said. How is her mother only 43?
Is that possible?
She was born in 59, so that's 27 years. Yeah, her mother was 16 when she had her. Yeah.
Jesus.
Holy shit. The suit charges that Martin repeatedly told his wife that he did not want her to work outside the home, that he wanted a well-maintained home with her in attendance at all times. In return for financial stability for life, the suit contends, she was to do all the housework, entertain Martin's baseball associates, and fix his meals. Because of Martin's alleged breach of promise, Mrs. Martin is without skills, training, or prospects for gainful employment, the suit alleges. Okay. She's never had a job. Ever. His divorce gets finalized in the off-season. In time, Heather and her family would depart the Black Hawk house. She quickly remarried and started a family, continued to live in the Bay Area, and regularly attends Oakland A's games.
Oh, nice.
In 2014, Heather said of Billy, he was a very loyal person who had a lot of compassion. That's what I will remember. Oh. All right. So he says he's happy in February of 87. He says he's content. Mm-hmm. He said, I think this year will be a test for me. If I like broadcasting, I'll forget about managing. If everything is at the proper line as far as dollars, I'll feel like I can let it go. That's when his book comes out. His book, Billy Ball, comes out here. He said that's a big deal because he, by the way, was very, very mad at everybody else for putting out tell-all books.
Right.
And then he does the same, and it's absolutely fine. Yeah. He said he's going to cut down on drinking.
Oh?
The book says by 1987, most of Billy's friends agree that his drinking had been reined in noticeably. This is Jill, said his drinking was under control most of the time. He developed some healthier habits. There were days and weeks when he didn't drink at all. Other times he would drink much more than he should, and it was not constant. Jill's campaign to raise the quality of Billy's appearances seemed to be working. Billy went on David Letterman's show with George Steinbrenner in the spring of 1987. They traded jokes and barbs. With Letterman's urging, Billy told the hunting with Mickey story when he mistakenly shot 2 of his Texas farmers' cows. The audience roared with laughter. It seems like something Letterman would be amused by.
Yeah.
I could hear that laugh, yeah. Dressed in a gray suit with well-coiffed, stylishly longer hair framing a tanned face, Billy appeared at ease. Gone were the hollow features of a man worn out by managing. Later in the same month, Billy sat for an extensive magazine interview. In it, he was asked if he'd ever seen a psychiatrist. Billy said he had not. He said, all a psychiatrist knows is what you tell him. You know what direction you're going in, and you know what direction you want to go in. So what can a psychiatrist tell you that you don't already know? If your head's right, yeah. But if your head's not right, then you don't notice that shit.
They also help you interpret. Like, you may know everything you know, but it's in Spanish, and you may need somebody to show you how to speak Spanish so that you can understand what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think from Billy's standpoint, he goes, well, I drink and then I get in fights. What am I going to do? Tell the guy I drink and get in fights? And what's he going to tell me? Well, maybe cut down on drinking. You won't get in fights. I know that. Don't need anybody to tell me. Well, I think that's what he's looking at. I don't really think he's studied psychiatry enough to know that.
No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm definitely not defending Billy's point of view, but that's from his point of view. It's like, but I know things. I know me.
Yeah. A plus B equals C. No,
why
that's
not
how it always goes. Sometimes
I'm a doctor now.
A plus B still equals B, man.
I'm Dr. Billy Martin. Billy said he was mentally strong because he knew how to release any tension in his life. Mm-hmm. He said having a temper is a relief. That's right. Didn't Jesus get angry and whip the money changers? He's got a point.
No.
He's got a point. I mean, what are you going to say to that? Told that Jesus did not use a whip, but overturned the tables in the temple when he was angry, Billy replied, what's the difference? He got his anger out.
Right, yeah.
You flip tables, you whip either way.
Shit's broken, people are bleeding. What's the difference?
You motherfuckers. That's all he was looking to do. Yeah. Billy stayed conspicuously distant from the 87 team. As had the previous year, he never stayed in the team hotel on the road. Throughout 1987, there was talk of Lou Piniella being fired and Billy returning to manage, but Piniella survived. Before the last game of the season, Piniella had dinner with several writers, and when the meal was over, he lit up a cigarette and ordered a snifter of cognac. Leaning back in his chair, Piniella talked about how he knew Steinbrenner would fire him. Piniella said, George doesn't think I did a bad job. He just can't stand not being in the playoffs. And he keeps saying Billy is tanned and rested. I think we all know what that means.
Yeah. Everybody
laughed. And Piniella said, you know what the funniest part is? Son of a bitch if Billy isn't tanned and rested.
Yeah, he's having a great life.
October 19th, during the World Series, Steinbrenner announced that Lou Piniella is being promoted to general manager.
Okay.
And Billy Martin is coming back as manager of the fucking Yankees.
Here we go.
That is insanity, man. That's Billy 5 now we're going on.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So Billy and Lou agreed they had to remake the team. And Piniella said, we've got a lot of big plans this offseason. And Billy said, you bet. Mm-hmm. This is the terrible era when George was trading all of these amazing prospects that became monster superstars later on for bullshit and like some old pitcher to try to like make the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
You look at the list of people the Yankees had and drafted and had first in the 80s. It is like the all-star teams of the 90s.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They had all those guys and got rid of them. So that's really fucking annoying. So they hire Billy Martin again.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm anxious to return as Yankees manager and looking toward bringing an exciting and winning team to Yankees fans. Wow. What the fuck? That's crazy. That's good. That's just crazy. Billy's offseason did include some big plans. His wedding to Jill was by far his biggest, most extravagant and boisterous. January 25th, 1988, at the Blackhawk Country Club not far from the house in Blackhawk, which Billy and Jill had now made their home after the divorce from Heather was finalized and her whole family moved out. Wow. An elaborate video of the wedding day begins with Billy and Jill getting ready for the ceremony, dressing in separate back bedrooms, but together in the house. Mickey Mantle, the best man, flits in and out of the video. He's done this several times in Billy's marriages. Well, this is like his third best man appearance, I think.
Yeah.
Telling jokes in his syrupy drawl. He always has a glass in his hand with some kind of brown liquor. With each appearance in the video, Mantle appears less and less sure on his feet, more shit-faced as time goes by. Just before Billy and Jill leave the house for their wedding, the camera pans on a fancy, ornate door with raised panels. The door is not a part of the house and rests against a wall. It's a wedding present, and it's the most prominent feature in a pronounced blemish. Its most prominent feature is a pronounced blemish. One of the panels has a large hole, a gouge that has splintered the wood. As Billy explains, a man who owned the Manhattan hotel where the door originated had sent it to the wedding couple. Billy says to the camera, "I'm mild-mannered, Billy Martin." He then explains that he and Jill were having a big fight and she kicked in the door. Billy laughs. That's why they sent it to him. This is a broken door that she broke. The wedding was lavish. Jill arrived in a white Rolls Royce and walked through a corridor of male attendants dressed in Yankee pinstripes. There were a multitude of bridesmaids in flowing dresses. Billy and Mantle wore light gray striped tuxedos. Hundreds attended the wedding. The night before the wedding, some of Billy's friends were still trying to talk him out of marrying Jill. He said, "Oh, come on, she's all right." After the ceremony, Mantle decided to make his best man's toast with the newlyweds still at the altar. Perhaps Mickey knew he would not make it to the reception. He passed out soon after and had to be brought back to the Blackhawk house. Wow.
Okay.
He's been drinking since he woke up.
Just make the toast now.
Yeah, they announce these two. But hold on a minute, I got something to tell y'all. Weaving noticeably, Mickey said, "I'm Mickey, and I've been Billy's friend since 1950. This is the fourth one of these I've been to. It's getting to be an everyday deal." Billy grinned but made a pained face at his friend. Mickey had been Billy's friend during every marriage, but he had in fact not been to any of Billy's previous weddings. Remember the other guys?
Yeah,
he was supposed to be, but well, everyone knows that Billy is number one on your scorecard, and I know he's number one in everybody's hearts. I wish both of you the best, and I hope I don't ever have to go to another one of these Billy weddings. These Billy weddings. Yeah. Billy and Jill walked down the aisle to applause, passing a variety of baseball personalities, including Tony La Russa. Mm-hmm. At the reception, the dance floor was busy. At one point, Billy's mother, Jenny, serenaded Billy with one song, "My Man." In the video, Billy seems to be holding Jill's hand or dancing with her throughout the reception, at one point cheek to cheek. Toward the video's conclusion, Billy's singing along to New York, New York as he dances. The camera zooms in and Billy intones the words, "If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere." So, 1988, here's an article in the paper talking to Jill. Now she's getting publicity. Billy Martin's best friend thinks he's an old softy. His wife says no, but he's an incurable romantic.
Who would want to cure that?
Oh, yeah. That is fucking great. Wow. By the way, she says she's a grandmother at 32.
Whoa.
She's a
16-year-old.
She's a stepmother. Billy's first daughter's 4 years older than her.
Okay.
So she is a stepdaughter to someone who's older than her. A stepmother to someone who's older than her, which is tough.
Whoa.
Interesting. So, yeah, she says, though, we have a very nice time, and he tells me lots of stories, and he makes me laugh, and we're in love. Yeah, really.
Right.
And she says, it doesn't bother me, the age difference. The only time I think about it is when someone else brings it up. Yeah. They said, what about the fact that he was in the public eye during a time you can't relate to? And she says, you mean before I was born? Yeah, that's what we mean. That's exactly what we're fucking talking about.
You get it.
So anyway, she goes on to say that I was intrigued with him. I wanted to be a photographer. And yes, it was in the back of my mind at the time. I hope this guy cuts loose in front of my camera. Yeah, I'm going to be on my way. This is my big break. Maybe Billy Martin will snap and punch one of his players and I'll get a good shot of it. She said, though, but she was being professional. And, it took them a while to get together and, all this bullshit, basically. She, on the subject of the media, she says, I blame them when they don't get it right or when it's not firsthand, talking about the coverage of Billy. She's like, so a lot of the things, Billy, you would think I'd be mad at Billy for, I'm not mad at Billy because it was just misreported bullshit by the media.
Oh.
1988 New York Yankees are 85-76, which
getting worse. 5th
in the AL East. Not good.
Yikes!
Not good. Not good. That is Billy Martin, as we'll find out, isn't going to coach this whole season.
No,
he's not. Oh, God, Jesus, I just looked at the roster and I saw guys like Alvaro Espinoza and fucking Randy Velarde and Wayne Tollison and Don Swat and Joel Skinner and Rick Roden and all these guys from the bad times. Claudel Washington, Jesus Christ. Wow, that's Roberto Kelly's rookie year. I see he was good center fielder for a while here. There's some bad guys. Jack Clark. Remember we had Jack Clark? What the fuck?
Didn't he go to San Francisco?
St. Louis. He came from St. Louis, where he was a big star, and then he was garbage, and he was in San Francisco, too. This is when we still had Jay Buhner before fucking trading him for Ken Phelps, the old Steinbrenner, or the old Seinfeld thing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a story from Buck Showalter.
All right.
There we go. Showalter saw that the road version of Billy Ball was another level of education. During the first game of the trip in Sarasota, Showalter did something that put him permanently in Billy's good graces. The Yankees were tied with the White Sox in a game that went into the 10th inning. The Yankees' Bobby Meacham was at first base when Chicago brought in a young reliever and former Yankees farmhand Ken Patterson. Billy starts screaming in the dugout, "Does anybody know this guy? Does anybody know this guy?" Meaning the pitcher. He meant Patterson. This is Showalter. He meant Patterson. I'm sitting there and I just want to keep my mouth shut and stay with the big league team. I'm 31 years old and don't want to piss off any of the veteran coaches. I just want to keep getting paid $65 a day in big league meal money, which was huge to me at the time. But I had coached Patterson the previous year and started to think that if Billy finds out that I had him last year and didn't say anything, he'll be livid. So Showalter mentioned that he knew Patterson from the previous year. Billy raced over to ask what Patterson's move to first was like. So Showalter said, "I told Billy that Patterson actually has a phobia about throwing to first base. He can't do it. It's like the yips in golf."
Oh.
It's like the guys that can't throw there, or Mackie Sasser couldn't throw it back to the pitcher, or Chuck Knobloch or Steve Sachs, same thing. So he will step off and fake, but he won't throw it. He does it again and again, and as soon as it came out of my mouth, I thought, "What have you done?"
Why'd you say that?
Billy turned and ran to the top step of the dugout and yelled to first base coach Mike Ferraro, "Make the pitcher throw over." Okay. Now, I remember talking to Rod about this, and Rod always said, I hated throwing over because it was stupid. He goes, righties have no chance of getting a fucking guy. A lefty, you can pick a guy off first. A righty, he goes, you're not getting him.
Yeah.
He goes, unless he was halfway in with steal and stumbles and goes back, you are much more likely to throw the ball away than you are to get a guy out. He goes, way more likely. He goes,
and you're looking over your shoulder. The whole body's got to turn. By the time you turn, the mechanics, it's already too late.
A lefty, if you watch a guy like Andy Pettit, his move was basically he'd do half his windup, and then instead of stepping toward plate, he'd step towards first. You never knew when it was coming.
Right.
You had to be a righty. He's got to turn his whole body and throw. Right. So Rod was saying all he would do is take his foot off the rubber. The guy has to go back to the base, reset. There we go. Same thing. Mm-hmm. That was what he did. But it's a relief pitcher, too. It's
and then I don't have to throw it.
Yeah. Well, for a relief pitcher, if you throw it away, that could be the game at that point, too, if you're especially a closer. So anyway, Meacham took a 4-foot lead, then a 6-foot lead. Patterson faked to first, and Billy yelled, "Take a bigger lead."
Oh.
So Meacham moved 8 feet off the base. Bigger, Billy yelled.
Yeah.
Make him fucking throw it.
Right.
Meacham was 12 feet off the base, and Patterson was still only stepping off and faking a throw. Mm-hmm. So Showalter said, you could have rolled the ball to first base and picked Meacham off. He said, it's crazy. Billy is loving this now because he knows he's showing up the other manager. Finally, Patterson throws it, but it's 10 feet over the head of the first baseman, and Meacham goes from first base to third base.
Sorry. God damn it.
Somebody hit a sac fly, and we won. Billy hugged Showalter, who retreated to the locker room and showered. He was getting ready to pocket most of his meal money after a quick trip to McDonald's. Instead, third base coach Clete Boyer walked over. Clete says to me, "You think you did pretty good out there, don't you, kid? Well, you screwed up." Then he flipped me the keys to the car and told me, "Billy wants me to be part of that night's dinner with the coaches. I was the designated driver. We're leaving at 7. Screwed up means now you got to drive these drunks around.
Yeah.
Boyer gave Showalter some instructions. He's told me to go to the deli across from the team hotel at 6:30. He said that I should order a club sandwich and I should eat it right then. Showalter said, but aren't we going to dinner at 7? Mm-hmm. And Boyer said, just do what I tell you to do. Showalter did what he was told, then drove the coaches to dinner and watched as round after round of drinks were ordered. No one ordered any food till almost 10 o'clock.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So that's why. Get yourself a sandwich ahead of time.
You're going to be so sick if you don't.
Oh, my God. Showalter said the scotch was flowing like crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. I was dumping my drinks in the potted plants to stay upright. At maybe 10 p.m., we got appetizers. I don't know if we ever got dinner, and if we did, it wasn't until 11 o'clock. Thank God for that club sandwich. There was a lot of baseball talk at the dinner table, for a while at least. He said Billy was holding court, moving salt and pepper shakers around on the table to explain a trick play or something. He talked about how to attack another team, always attack. He said, don't let them relax. And he talked about how to identify smart players because he said to me, Buck, dumb players will get you fired. Mm-hmm. He never stopped teaching, and you could learn a lot before the fourth or fifth drink. But after that, things deteriorated. You saw the other side of things, which was a lot less fascinating and darker. I remember eventually we left the restaurant and went to a bar, and then I was driving everyone home at 3 a.m. Art Fowler made me stop at a 7-Eleven to get ice cream and a six-pack of beer. Oh, that's a bad 3 a.m. snack.
Oh.
You are going to wake up with so much gas and shits and everything else.
Wake up. You aren't going to bed.
Well, you'll pass out.
Oh, that's going to be.
You'll pass out. And then you'll wake up going, oh, God, Jesus, my stomach.
The discomfort that's going to cause 10 minutes later. Oof. I don't know that I'd fall asleep.
Man, yeah, that's true. But the next day, I don't know how, those guys were as fresh as a daisy.
Wow.
I was half their age and remember telling my wife that I wasn't going to survive the trip.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So here we go. April 1st, 1988. Here's a headline, by the way. Billy Martin has been relaxed and patient thus far in his fifth term as Yankees manager, but how long will it last?
Right.
All right, let's end it with this here.
Oh, how long will it last?
How long will it last? May 7th, 1988. New York Yankees manager Billy Martin treated for a head injury early this morning after a small fire forced the evacuation of the team's hotel. But hotel officials say there was no connection between the two events. We'll find out what those other events are here.
Oh.
A sports writer who traveled with the Yankees said Martin was treated at the hotel by the team's trainer, apparently after he was involved in some sort of altercation. How do you get in a fight during a fire? How does that happen? Team owner George Steinbrenner confirmed that Martin suffered a head injury early this morning, but offered no details. A small fire broke out shortly after 1 a.m. in the Arlington Hilton Hotel's sauna room when somebody left a newspaper atop a heater, said the fire department spokesman. Of Martin's injury, Steve Marcus, who covers the Yankees for Newsday, said, we don't know if he was hurt at the hotel or some other, but I do know he was treated at the hotel for a head wound, apparently after some sort of scuffle. And we'll do the details here. Okay.
Who did he fight?
After the game, Billy retired to the bar at the team hotel, the Arlington Hilton, where he had planned to meet Mickey Mantle and Mantle's son, Danny. Coach Mike Ferraro joined Billy and the Mantles at the bar, and the crew had a few drinks, but the hotel bar was packed with Yankees fans trying to spot a player, or even better, the manager. Mm-hmm. So Billy asked Mantle, isn't there somewhere quiet we can go to drink? And Mantle said, I know just the place, Chief. Uh-oh. The four men took a cab 1 mile down to the road to Lace, Arlington's only topless club. I know just the spot, Billy.
There will be titties.
There will be titties. Set back from Majesty Drive and surrounded by parking spaces, Lace was a large windowless building with stucco exterior walls. That's a strip club.
That's a strip club.
That's every strip club in the country. Yeah. And payphones positioned outside. Inside, it featured hundreds of strobe lights that illuminated a smoky haze with a throbbing music beat and a squad of dancers gyrating on the long rectangular bar. It was filled with local men, many of them in cowboy hats and boots. Some had come to Lace from the Yankee-Ranger game. This is down in Texas here. Billy asked a laughing Mantle, USOB, this is the quiet place you talked about?
Yeah. It's loud as fuck in here. There's titties
crazy.
Everywhere.
I didn't complain about the titties. Now I said the noise. So he said Billy, the Mantles, and Ferraro headed inside and began drinking. 3 guys in cowboy hats across the bar who had apparently been at that night's game recognized Billy and playfully tossed some insults at the Yankees manager about his ejection. Okay, now, Billy Joe Martin, Billy's son, said people in Lace saw and heard that, and later they thought those guys were the problem. But my dad told me that it was all in fun, and the guys had sent drinks over, and they weren't any problem. Problem is, Billy Joe says he still kicks himself for not being at Lace that night. Billy Joe wished he'd been there because he considered himself something of a lucky charm with his father when it came to bars. He said he never got in any trouble when I was around. I had seen guys drop out of the clouds to taunt him so many times I had a sixth sense about it, and I could diffuse it and say, dude, that's my father, leave us alone, or something stronger or more profane.
Sure.
So I could take the heat for him, and there wouldn't be so dying to fight me as they would my father.
Right.
Yeah.
And whether or not I could quell it, it would at least keep him from fighting. There may have been a fight otherwise, but at least he's out of it.
Yes, exactly. Maybe get him over on the other side of the room. What happened inside Lace is something of a mystery despite multiple investigations later. Billy Joe faults a Lace bouncer who felt insulted by Billy during an exchange at the bar for instigating things.
Those guys are insulted real easy.
They don't take anything to insult, especially strip club guys. They're just looking to beat people up.
Strip club bouncers are the easiest to offend.
Yeah, they're just trying to show off for the girls, I think. That's what they're doing. So Eddie Sapir conducted an inquiry. This guy has conducted a lot of inquiries on Billy's behalf. And his report fingered two motorcycle gang-like individuals. It fingered them, my goodness, who targeted Billy, perhaps because Billy had said something to one of their girlfriends. The police said there were two assailants, but never identified them. What is certain is that Ferraro escorted the Mantles home, which may have been Billy's idea. But Billy was not supposed to be left alone. Over the years, it's hard to think of a late-night episode when he was alone, except inside Lace. Right. The other certainty is that sometime just after 1:30 a.m., Billy went to the men's room. Standing at a urinal next to another Lace patron at an adjacent urinal, Billy said something he often said in this setting. Mine's bigger. Billy Joe said you had to know him. He was that guy who would break the tension at the urinal. He thought that was funny. Yeah. He wouldn't look down at you and do it. He'd just be like, mine's bigger. And he'd be like, haha, yeah, whatever. Because there's otherwise it's a very uncomfortable thing standing at urinals. You don't talk.
It's the fucking worst.
It's weird. Both of our dicks are out. Why are we here? Yeah. I will not use a urinal. I'm going to do that and get piss on my shoes from splashing? I don't think so. Go in a fucking toilet like a civilized person. I don't need to piss into a wall. This is ridiculous.
And it's made worse when they don't have the blinder things. When they just have them
give me
wide
a divider.
open.
I don't care. I'm not going to get your piss on my shoes. That's the other thing. It's someone else's piss on me. So he said, anyway, he told me that the guy next to him zipped up and left. And without any warning, two guys came into the men's room and whacked him on the head with some kind of blackjack or hard object.
Yeah.
My dad said he was knocked to the ground and remembers being punched and kicked and thrown out a side or back door to the place. He said to me, I've never been jumped like that before. I was still standing there peeing. I had my deal still out. He had his deal out. I had my deal still out is the greatest thing in the world. The police, Sapir, and the doctors who attended to Billy agree that someone hit him in the head with a blunt instrument. Everyone agrees that Billy was pushed out of a back door where he was shoved into the raised stucco exterior of the building, and the side of his head was dragged along the rough serrated wall.
Eesh.
The stucco outside the lace was a pattern of jagged, pointed pieces of concrete, and they tore into Billy's left ear. The ear was all but sheared off, and it bled profusely onto Billy's shirt. Billy ended up in a taxi. His plan, he later said, was to sneak into the hotel unseen, since the hotel bar had long since closed and most everyone had gone to bed. Billy would go up directly to trainer Gene Monahan's room, where he figured Monahan could stitch him up or get him the help he needed.
Yeah.
He'll take care of it. Unbeknownst to Billy at the time, as he was losing his second straight barroom fracas, there had been a minor, smoky electrical blaze near the hotel sauna. A fire alarm had sounded, and while the fire department officials arrived to quickly extinguish the flame, every guest in the Hilton had been herded out of the entrance of the hotel with the fire alarm. So he comes back to every single hotel person, guest and employee, standing outside, looking at him. A few hundred people, including the players, coaches, and reporters, were standing on a lawn at the grand circular drive in front of the hotel. So was George Steinbrenner, who had made the trip with the team. Oh, God. George had wrapped himself in a silk robe. That's when an Arlington taxi pulled up.
Uh-oh.
From the back seat of the vehicle emerged Billy, his shirt covered in blood. He was using a light jacket to hold his torn, battered ear to the side of his head. It was almost an incomprehensible sight. Billy looked around and admitted he had one thought. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
His boss is standing there in his robe.
Yeah.
Steinbrenner, his robe straining against his legs as he ran, rushed over to Billy, who was brought into the hotel manager's office off the lobby. Monahan and another trainer dashed in behind him. Guests were soon told they could return to their rooms, but the reporters remained to see what happened. Steinbrenner was giving orders to various personnel and waving his arms. Soon Billy was taken to the Arlington hospital. Billy was saying he was jumped and he didn't know exactly what happened, said Monahan, who accompanied him to the hospital. He said he was mostly upset that it might affect the season. He said to me, Gino, we don't need this. We're in first place. And he kept saying, I can't go anywhere. At the hospital, doctors prepared to use about 50 stitches to mend Billy's ear.
Wow.
This is no joke.
That's
Billy, who was
big, yeah.
That's a lot.
Billy,
who was
baton?
This was from the stucco with his ear.
Oh,
got, ripped off.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
It's like sandpaper, but
yeah, just
much more gritty.
Scraping it off. Yeah, that is a very low grit number there. That's Billy, who was 10 days from his 16th birthday, had a swollen eye, gash on his, or 60th birthday, had a swollen eye, gash on his cheek, big ugly bruises on his right shoulder and left knee, as well as a lumpy contusion on the back of his skull. So we're in the emergency room, and the doctor starts working on Billy's ear, Monahan says. A nurse is there filling out a form for Billy. She's asking him all the usual questions, name, address, medications taken, and she says, are you allergic to anything? And Billy says, yeah, people, P-E-O-P-L-E.
Nice job.
Yeah. The doctor started laughing so hard he had to stop doing the stitches in his ear. Word got back to Jill in Manhattan. In the middle of the night, she tried calling Gene Monahan at the Arlington Hilton. She instead was connected to the room of New Jersey sports writer Kevin Monahan, not Gene Monahan. Gene, this is Jill. How is Billy? To a reporter. He tried to explain he tried to explain who he was. Because if he doesn't have it on the record, he can't use it anyway. So he's like, yeah. So she says, but Gene, how is he? And he said, I don't know, and hung up the phone. This isn't my thing.
Yeah.
Steinbrenner visited Billy in the hospital and was driven to and from the hospital by an old high school classmate of Billy Joe Martin's. He said, my high school buddy told me that when George came out of the hospital, he was white as a sheet. He was terrified of the condition Billy was in. My friend told me George looked really shaken, nervous, and sweating. Billy arrived at the ballpark the next day looking far worse than he did after the Whisman fight. This time there was no wise guy cracks about hurting himself bowling. He said, I just feel embarrassed because I got caught off guard. I didn't think I'd get hit in the head in the toilet. I'm like a Western cowboy who's noted for something. People want to go after me. I never got a punch in. And the Arlington police agreed that Billy had done nothing to provoke the fight. And Steinbrenner even said, Billy was the victim, case closed. Anybody can get jumped.
Yeah.
So the players were aghast at this whole thing. Mattingly said, the way he looked and the way he was moving, I couldn't believe he got himself to the ballpark at all. And Willie Randolph said he was really messed up this time. There was blood caked all in his ear along the stitches. It was kind of scary. So anyway, the broadcast did not mention it, and they were asked to and agreed to not show any close-ups of Billy in the dugout
that's
that
nice.
day. Yeah. Reporters flocked to Lace, the strip club, trying to get some insight from the club's employees. There was very little. And from the scene, Billy's blood was still on the stucco wall.
Wow.
The Yankees lost the next 2 games in Texas. Before the last game in Arlington, Billy had breakfast with the Post's Michael Kay, who would then end up working for the Yankees forever and ever and ever and still does. He told Kay, I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm going to walk away. I never did go looking for fights, but it's part of my past now. Things happen whether I want them to or not. I'm not afraid of getting killed in a fight someday, but that's what scares my wife. I'm going to have to stop. Lace, as far as anyone knows, was Billy's last fight. Billy and the Yankees flew home from Texas that night. Tex Gernard picked Billy up from the airport. He, too, was shocked by Billy's appearance. and said Billy was a tough guy who could take a lot. But boy, when I saw him after Lace, I knew he'd really gotten the worst of it. He just laid down across the seat in the back of the car.
Wow.
So when the Yankees get back to Yankee Stadium, the columnists, none of whom had been in Texas, took a look at Billy and were horrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just defeated, and he knew it.
Yeah, and they were saying that the injuries were bad, and the fact that it happened in a strip club made it worse.
Yeah.
Jill thought that missed the point. In a quote that made headlines, she said, "I don't care where my husband gets his appetite. I know where he comes home to dinner." Meaning, I don't care where he starts getting horny. He brings his hard little dick over to he brings his deal over to me.
Comes home for the burger or the steak, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Yeah. She said, "What worried me was the fight, not the location of it," years later. You're telling me no one else's husband went to a topless bar? The real problem was that I didn't want him in fights. He was getting older. People coming after him were getting younger. Steinbrenner was of the same mind, but that was bad sign for Billy, the Yankees owner, seemed to be less tolerant or willing to forget the episode as he had been initially. Steinbrenner said, "He's a 60-year-old man. When I saw him with his ear hanging off, he shouldn't have been there. He just has to use better judgment." It's kind of Mickey Mantle's fault. You know.
Is it?
Well, he took him there.
He did say, "Let's go to Lace."
Yeah. By the way, here's some quotes about Billy Martin. Ron Guidry: "If you approach Billy Martin right, he's okay. I avoid him altogether." Jim Bouton, who wrote Ball 4, said, "Lots of people look up to Billy Martin. That's because he just knocked them down."
Nice. That's good.
Johnny Carson, in one of his monologue jokes, said, "Today is opening day in baseball. Out in Yankee Stadium, Billy Martin threw out the first punch." Bob Hope said, "During the strike, Billy Martin stayed in shape by kicking dirt on his dog." Okay. Jerry Coleman said, "You have to remember that most of Billy's boyhood friends are in San Quentin." And Bob Short, the old owner of the Rangers, said, "Billy, one of three things is going to happen to you. You're either going to kill somebody, someone's going to kill you, or you're going to kill yourself."
Oh.
No shit. Billy is ejected this year. Now he starts getting ejected for calls and everything else. And, man, going off on this umpire, and he gets in a lot of trouble for that. A Boston psychiatrist said, "Kicking dirt and throwing dirt are obvious, simple displacements from kicking the person and hitting the person. Dirt adds another quality, filth, ultimately meaning contempt. It's an expression of contempt." You did not need a psychiatrist to tell me while he was screaming, "You motherfucking cocksucker, lying piece of shit," and throwing dirt at someone, that meant contempt. That I didn't need a psychiatrist to tell me. I could have figured that one out on my own.
You're telling me you already knew he didn't like the guy.
It's weird. It's weird. Oh, my God. Oh, man. June 6, 1988, they're saying how he never grows up. 6-year-olds throw dirt. That's what this article says. 6-year-olds throw dirt sometimes. They kick it. 6-year-olds are a lot like Martin. They also get in scuffles with other kids, though rarely in bars. That's a ha-ha, asshole. So Billy is in bad shape. June 24th, 1988, and we'll end it on this. Billy is fired again.
Oh, it's over?
The middle of the season, and Lou Piniella is rehired. As a kid, I was like, what's happening? What the fuck is going on?
Lou. No, I like Billy. No, I like Lou. No, I like Billy.
Yeah, back to Lou. Don Mattingly said, "If you had told me Billy's out and Lou's in, I would have said, nah, that'll never happen. You would think I've learned here to expect the unexpected, but some things are still a surprise." That's his last managing gig for him. So
it's
total
over, huh?
16 years of managing. He's got a .553 winning percentage, 2 pennants, and a World Series. Not bad.
It's not bad. It's
better
a
than most managers.
solid career, man.
It's great.
Yeah.
Piniella said, "I just knew that Billy had to be devastated. It was always like a small death for him when he was separated from the Yankee job. Nothing else made him feel totally alive." He said he went to his house, but his wife wasn't home. He left her a note because he'd gone to Yankee Stadium for the pregame news conference. He said he went to his own house and left a note for his wife that, "Oh, by the way, I'm manager of the Yankees again." He said the note should have started, "Lost my mind, accepted Yankees managerial job." So Jill said of Billy, he did not see that one coming. He never saw it coming at all. Billy was really shocked. George did things with spontaneity. Jill said Billy took it real hard, blamed Steinbrenner. Billy would rail against him. What he saw was the unfairness of it all. Yeah. Jill said Billy, when he was fired, would usually stay away from people for a while, just become a homebody and not go out for a period of time. We had places where he could go and fish, we were finding the place outside Binghamton and then rebuilding it. He had some things to occupy his time. Billy was pretty down, but I remember leaving that meeting at the Carlisle, and we were walking down Madison Avenue, and a guy working on a scaffold looked down and called to Billy, Eddie Sapir said. The guy yelled, "Hey, Billy, we still love you." Whenever Billy was down, all he had to do was walk around Manhattan because the people there never stopped rooting for him. He was one of them forever.
I love that.
So there we go. We will finish up this Billy Martin epic tale next week as really the last couple years of his life. And what he's up to and what he's doing. So we will do all of that.
That's amazing.
That's great. We love you, Billy, you fucking bastard.
That's the best way to get
you cocksucker.
Do
we
that,
love you.
Construction workers. Yell at it, ladies.
So,
hey, gal, we still love you.
We still love you. I think they'd still take offense to that, probably. That sounds like a pre-rape fucking salvo, I think. So very quickly here, if you like this show and you like what we're doing here, please get on whatever app you're on and give us 5 stars. It helps a ton.
Say it.
Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Definitely for merchandise, number 1. Number 2, Small Town Murder tour dates will be announced tomorrow, December 2nd, whenever that is to you. And they'll go on sale later on in the week, so keep hanging out with us and doing that. You definitely want to follow on social media at Crime in Sports. Patreon.com /crimeinsports is where you get all the bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get a ton of stuff. You're going to get all the bonus episodes you've ever done, hundreds of them immediately upon subscription. New ones every other week. 1 Crime in Sports, 1 Small Town Murder, and you get them all.
You get them all.
This week for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about how cycling is like the most dangerous sport, and there's just piles of dead bicycle riders on the side of the road here. We'll talk about that.
Call them bikers, James.
They're bikers, man. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Charles Starkweather, who killed 11 people and said, it was this 13-year-old girl. I couldn't control her.
We'll talk about it. Nice.
Man, she's angry and horny. So we will get into all of that and more. That's patreon.com /crimeinsports. And you get everything that we put out, all the shows, Crime in Sports, Your Stupid Opinions, and Small Town Murder, all ad-free with your Patreon subscription. And you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now, Jimmie. Hit me with the most wonderful fucking people that would never, ever jump us in a strip club bathroom and scrape our ears against the stucco wall. Hit me with them right goddamn now.
This week's executive producer, Sarah Group A, maybe? Gary Howard is in Olathe or Olathe. How do they say that?
I think it's Olathe, something like that.
Fucking Kansas.
Olathe.
Assholes.
No one knows how you pronounce things.
That's where is that. Alana Zemmel, Elena, thank you so much. Andy Frisch celebrating 31 years with Jennifer.
Wow.
Married. Happy anniversary, you two.
Yeah,
fuck.
rock on.
31 years. They got to be in their fucking 90s, right?
I'm sure it was each of their 4th marriages. So
right. That's got to be our oldest listeners, right?
No, I think so.
Jason Bobason, thank you. And the fuck you looking at, whoever that is. You guys are the best. Thank you.
You motherfucker. That's a fucking answer. You're the best.
You're amazing. Other producers this week, Peyton Meadows, Janice Hill, happy hours in Nollins for Thanksgiving.
Oh, boy.
That's brutal. That's got to be cold, right? He just ordered a new fucking truck. The new trucks, they're so amazing. The over the road truck, they look like old ones, like from the 80s. They're boxy and shit. Okay. And it is so badass. I'm so jealous of it.
Cool.
I wish I knew how to pull shit with those. Jamie and Chris Metz, Sue Sadie, Sadie. I could probably drive it. That's a great point. I could probably drive it, just figuring out where it goes.
Not parking this thing. I don't know what to do.
Kristen Hooper, Michael Song, Jen Maximchuk, Benda, Maximchuk, Rachel Eicher, Fox 10, Gail McLaughlin, Heather West, Katie Eklund, Fatter Mike, okay, Bridget Erickson, Josh Howard. No, that's Ward. It's just Josh Ward. Melissa Steidel, Monsters with no last name. JP and M, random person. All right. Amethyst Morton, Patty with no last name. Nick Schneider's kid. Do we know Nick Schneider?
I don't know.
I don't know
Apparently
who that
he's got
is.
a kid. He slipped one past the goalie. Good for you,
I'm
Nick.
gonna Google him next. Julie Edbon, Smirt Monkey, Kristen Swinehart, Andre Belyakov, Christopher Romero, Squirrely's Bar and Grill, wherever that is, Mitzi M, Rodney Thompson, Dustin with no last name, Melody Harris, Jessica Tront, Woody's mom, Rick with no last name, Jennifer Modral, Andy with no last name, James Stonebarger. Yep, that's right. Randy. No, that's Brandy Brotherton. Holly with no last name. Luke Howard Bath. Maria Hollander. Dana with no last name. Ryan with no last name. Bradley Nussbaum. George Burrows. Samuel Wood. Danielle Tish. Not Daniel Tosh. Dana Sinclair. Ken Seschler. Jessica Bellwood. Erica Brown. Emily Rose Ramsvatan. Kemp. Pamela. Check Patreon. Oh, that's what I made a little note here. Pamela with no last name. Check Patreon. You signed up twice. Make sure you want both of those. Anna with no last name. Mo with no last name. Gigolo Tony, the Ghetto Soul and the Ghetto Soldiers. Is that somebody that we
It's a doo-wop group from the 50s. They sang around a burning garbage can, I believe.
Are they playing
Flat Top Tony and the Purple Canoes,
somewhere?
I believe. That's similar to them.
Blake R. Stepper, Kat Marsden, Cute Jelly, gross. Jean Russin, Colton Graybill, Ashley Hilliard, Kevin Kelly, Bobby Rains, Melissa Kamer, whoa, Crystal Hughes, Sver Sversky. Is that real? Sversky? I don't know. Arlene McGee, Catherine Catherine Whitworth, Walter M, Bethany Bolt. Who the fuck is calling me today? Kim with no last name. Christina Cook, Scott Onzorge.
Oh.
What? Christopher Lutz, Carlos Spicy Wiener.
Ozorns.
Yeah, of the owners Joe.
You know those guys. Yeah, we all know.
Rob Bond, Aaron Squires, Chris Moore, Brad Loxley. But isn't that what's his name? Robin's last name? Oh, it's Of. That's why. Brent, Tyler Young, Brent Bivens, Meshiel, Marcus, Angelina with no last. Angelia? I may have missed the N. Thank you. Jamie Muntz with no last. That is the last name. Emily Heidi, the camo.
This is a mess.
Zach Shakur, Don with no last name, Philip with no last name, Carrie Joins, I think that's Jones, that's got to be a mistype, Kristen with no last name, Samantha with no last name, Carolyn Emerson, Charlotte Fishwick, LD, Gus Messer, Allie with no last name, Chris with no last name, and obviously all our patrons. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. From the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us. Hope you're enjoying all the Patreon content and all that good stuff. If you want to find us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com has drop-down menus. It'll take you wherever you want to go. So keep coming back and seeing us. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.